Slip through the hands of Coe. Blamires finds it. Owens is in a bit of strife. Handball back to Coe. Nervy moments here late in the first quarter. A terrific smother.
Wow. Well, we are live for the end of the first quarter for the Richmond VFL watch-along. Thought we'd fire it up. I did miss the start of the game, and I've had a mad rush to try and get the bits and pieces put together for it. But yeah, we thought we would do a watch-along to see how the young Cubs are going. Not a bad start from the young Cubs, it must be said.
Wilson kicks to the goal square, just dropped in front of Fawcett. George tries to come through. Davies coming the other way, might well play the boundary line. He does. We'll throw it in.
It's hearts in mouth sort of stuff. These.
I know, Anthony. I know. That was kind of part of the reason why I wanted to pop it on, because I'm like, you just know he's going to go there and smash it in the VFL, and sure enough. He's there in the starting centre bounce. He's had 16 disposals, inside 50s galore, and it's honestly frustrating. I'll update the scores quickly. Obviously with the overlay that I'm running with at the moment, I didn't have time to whip up a Frankston Dolphins score. So yeah, we're just gone with the Fremantle one. But yeah, you can watch it. You can watch it on the AFL website. So if you go to AFL website and then in the fixture part, click on the drop down and change it to VFL, and then it'll have watch now for this game, which is awesome. But yeah, Tyler Sonsie smashing it. I actually think I'm going to double down on my Now Hear Me Out video. I reckon I'm going to make a part 2, because we have to try him in the midfield. Right, and I understand that he probably hasn't shot lights out at AFL level, I get it, but the kid was drafted as an inside midfielder, was a clearance machine, and he's done it time and time and time again at AFL level, and we just refuse to play him in the midfield. It makes no sense to me whatsoever. And you can bet your bottom dollar that because of lack of opportunity, he will leave the club. He will go play somewhere else, and he will thrive in a starting midfield somewhere. You can absolutely bookmark it, I reckon. It's so frustrating. It really is. Tigers doing all right there, 27-15. I've missed a little bit of the first quarter because I was getting the kids sorted, but hopefully Sonsie... Oh, I know Sonsie's done well, but hopefully Smiley's done some nice things too. Welcome to everybody in chat as well, by the way. Thank you for popping in. TRM Sonsie on track for 60. I know, right? It's scary, isn't it? 16 disposals and 3 tackles in a quarter of football. I don't mean to yell, but just come on. Uze, coaches. The proof's right there. And because we know how this is going to play out, right? He's going to get 35 touches, a shitload of clearances, tackles, goals, whatever. And then he's going to come straight back into the AFL next week or the week after and play half forward again. It is a complete and utter waste of talent. I really don't get it. I really don't get it. Webby, Smiley at 5 disposals but clean hands. Very good. And Trouter, your point's bang on, mate. If they only see him as a half forward in the AFL, then let him actually learn how to play the position properly in the VFL. Don't let him master or be very good at being an inside midfielder to not play him there and play him in a spot where he's not actually practicing his craft. Like, it makes 0 sense what we're doing. 0 sense. Anthony Smiley getting a lot of it. Very nice. Paulie D. Smiley kicking his elites. Pinpoint. That's what we want to hear, Paulie. How nice is it going to be when you've got Sonsie, Smiley and Lawler hitting up the forwards? So I'm just trying to get the stats up on my phone just quickly. I want to see just Richmond. I don't care about Frankston. So quarter time, leading disposal winners. Killing me. Sonsie 16, 3 marks, 3 tackles to go with it. Smith 9 disposals, Kane McCall 7, Garner 6, Smiley 5, Wilson 5. Kalina actually looked a little bit impressive as well in the times he was in there too, with his ruck taps, and he actually got a couple of clearances and handballs out, which was good. 5 disposals. Razzo with the goal early as well, 4 disposals. What are the advanced stats? Do I have clearances? Here we go. I say so. Sonsy's got the 1 clearance, Wilson 3, McCall of 2, Smiley 1, Smith 1, Elnor 1, and a couple of others. But yeah, very frustrating. Tiro, I'm impressed with Sim laying tackles and taking clunks. Nice. Good smother by Olga. I missed little bits and pieces of that while I was getting it set up. So thank you for putting that in there, the things that I've missed. I did see, it might have been Sims take a big mark and maybe miss the shot at goal. He's a big unit, isn't he, Sims? I'm really looking forward to seeing what he's going to do for us in a couple of years. Anthony, you can tell Sonsy's trying to force the coaches to play him in the middle. It's all he can do. 100%, mate. 100%. And like I am fully aware and understand that Sonsy's had plenty of critics along the way, and there's probably been times where we've criticised his efforts at AFL level as well, potentially. But like I said in my Now Hear Me Out video, after doing like a lot more thorough research, it's just clear as day that we have to try him there. I would truthfully understand it more if we were on the cusp of playing on making finals and we're trying to find the right structure to get us into the 8 and shit like that. I would get it. But we're not in that position. We are in a trial part of our footballing cycle, and it just makes me more angry, in case you haven't been able to tell, when we're getting smashed or the game starts to be lost in the second half at AFL level, and we still don't put him in there. We still haven't seen him in a centre bounce this year, and we've lost games by 40, 50, 60, 70 points. It's madness, absolute madness. Having a crack, how mate? The boundary throw-ins have been shot. Have they? I actually, like I said, I didn't catch too much of the first quarter, but I've got it on now, so we'll see how we go in the second. But Captain Blight, hi boys, can someone bring bug spray? Is it bad? Is it, Cap? What do they got? Flies, mozzies, the works. I suppose if it's near the bay, there could be a bit going on there. Salah, welcome. Smiley has an elite kick, but looks very good for a hard ball get and forward handball. Good call on the forward handball. It's actually something I really noticed in his first couple of games at VFL level. It's very, very similar to Smiley in that, to Lawler in that sense, that they're really good at releasing handballs to players into a more advantageous position, and they do that by holding on for just that half a second longer, absorb a bit of pressure, and then release it. It's a really good skill to have, and I'm rapt that we've got 2 players who we've just drafted who can do it. Melanie, has the question ever been asked as to why he's not played in the midfield? Not that I've seen publicly, Melanie. I know we have multiple times. And look, I know the club know and see what we do. So please, someone pass it on to Uze. We need to see this happen. We need him in the midfield. But no, to your point, I haven't seen a press conference where anyone's connected the dots and gone, oh, any danger of trying that guy's getting 35 touches and 10 clearances in your VFL in the midfield? But yeah, crazy shit. Captain's out of control, the Bucks. It looks like a fair crowd there, mate. What time did you get there? It looks really, really packed. Human going well, thanks yourself. What's happening? Phonics, wish I could tell Uze some things to try, even if it was only to see a spice up from Hopper, Taranto, Ross. Yeah, I'm the same as you. Like I said on Monday night, that when we're in games, like yeah, we play well for the first half, right? We're pretty competitive. We were against Fremantle, the same against St Kilda and things like that. I've got no issue in sticking to the A grade mid, whatever you want to call it, in those moments when we're doing well. It's when the game gets blown out. You got to do something different. You can't just leave the same guys in there, because they're probably cooked. They're probably absolutely spent, because no one else is getting minutes, and that's where I'll be chucking in a Sonzy, a Campbell, a Rioli Jr. Add some speed, add some variety. That's truthfully been the most frustrating part of our games for me. I can handle the losses. I know where we're at as a footy club, and I'm pretty understanding of that we're going to lose games severely at times. What I don't like is not seeing us try things when it's obvious that we should, because we need to work out. We need to work out what we have on our list going forward too. So we're actually not working out who the best players are in certain positions because we're not playing them there. It just seems strange. Yeah, Paul, it is like he's a little bit scared to try. And I know that Sonzy, people will say Sonzy's undersized, and I get it. He's a smaller dude. But he gets the ball 35 times, and he's, it's still men he's playing against at VFL level. So just do it. What have we got to lose? We've got nothing to lose. 2,000 people. The lines were huge. That's good. That's good. Having a crack in terms of getting Razzo mid-season, the only way, and someone correct me if I'm wrong, we don't have a list spot at the moment, right? So that part we know. So the only way to get a list spot is if someone retires, or if we deactivate someone / long-term injury list. Now, the 2 possible options seem like Prestia retiring is one. And if you read how was that not recalled, that bounce? Jesus. The second quarter's just gotten underway, folks. If you read the injury reports from the club over the last 2 or 3 weeks, it has been bleak for Prestia, and it hasn't got any better at all, and I just can't see when he's going to come back. So maybe there's something there, I don't know. If there's not, if they're still thinking he's going to play, and I'll leave that up to the club and Prestia, obviously. But Harry Armstrong could be one that we maybe consider putting on the deactivated or long-term injury list, because by the time he comes back from this injury, there might only be 4, 5, 6 weeks left, whatever it is. And I know that's still a chunk of football, but you could just put him in cotton wool for the rest of the year. Maybe he might not like that. It might not be a popular decision, but if it meant getting someone like Razzo into your club, is it worth it? Is probably what you got to ask yourself. The drop off is messy. Yeah, the drop off is probably, it is in the VFL for sure. Smiley gets a handball to Sonzi, feeds it out as we exit the defensive 50 with the tap taking a nice mark on the wing. Yeah, Smiley is composed, Declan. And again, that's what I said before, how he just takes that extra half a second to take pressure. As Razzo dribbles one, he dribbles one home, Razzo, on the boundary line. See, we mentioned him. We've got to find a way to get him on the list. And this is where I come back to my Harry Armstrong point. Now, I love Harry Armstrong and what he's done so far in his first year. Really impressive. Big hamstring injury. We've already said 12 weeks. Do we consider putting him on the deactivated list, a long-term injury list, whatever you want to call it? So it means he won't play for the rest of the season. By the time he comes back, there's going to be not many games left anyway. But it would mean that we can pick up Razzo. So that's the trade-off. And then Harry Armstrong's, obviously back on the list next year, and we carry on. So I think and this is on the proviso that Presti is not retiring, right? So that's probably option 1 if it was to happen. 2, it's a long-term injury, which we could activate potentially. I think it's a good trade-off because you'd be filthy if we passed up Razzo and he starts doing shit like that at AFL level for someone else. You'd be absolutely gutted. We've got the snack pack in the middle, as Frankston have just gotten forward with a clearance, but straight into the hands of our defenders who have exited D50 again. Noah O'Connor, speak of the devil. RFC Centre, how are you, mate? Razzo with a bloody good sausage roll, agree. Anthony Razzo, wow. Declan Massimo, what a goal. Wheat Bix or W Bix? No, haven't finalised the date to go in to Big Ant yet, no. Like I said, I'm hoping selfishly that it's next week because I've got some days off, but I don't know whether that's going to eventuate yet. I'm just waiting to hear back. I won't be able to live stream when I'm in there, but I'll be getting gameplay footage to be able to then do a video of. So I might even do a live stream to show the footage once I'm home and have it all ready to go and stuff like that. So there will be some type of content that comes out, whether I do it live or a video, or maybe a combination of both. But yeah, as soon as I know the date and time, and it's sort of surrounding, the reason why I don't know yet is because we're wanting to make sure that when I go, that the stuff I learn and capture, I can obviously put back out into the open forums, because it'd be a complete waste of time if I went there and wasn't able to say anything. So yeah, we're just waiting for that. Craig, welcome. Shane, very big. Are you there? Very nice, very nice. What time did everyone get there? I heard the commentators say they were big lines, which is good. Local footy is good. RFC Centre, I reckon McCarthy is more of a need for us. Speed off the halfback flank, but Razzo just has so much talent. I mean, you probably couldn't go wrong with either one, could you, RFC? There's just a lot of appeal with Razzo. You'd have to feel like he's the one who got away if we don't pick him. Yeah, I'd be scared to not get him. Oh, free kick to the Dolphins in the crowd. Bit of a Bronx cheer. CJ, welcome. Razzo needs to play. Not sparked by Richmond. Surely they've seen enough. Needs to play dead. Nah, look, I think that horse is bold as CJ. I reckon that the football world is well and truly aware of who Massimo Razzo is. Yeah, I don't think we can hide him now. I think that's long gone. I get your point, though. I get your point. Oh, Blight. Interesting the Blight's playing. Not interesting, but there's a few people speculating that maybe he got dropped from the AFL side for like a rest to kind of balance with games with the shorter breaks coming up. And I thought that might make sense if he doesn't play tonight. But the fact he's playing means it wasn't really based around managed minutes or resting at all. Unless he only plays for a half. I don't know. But Yeah, there's been a few that's got away, Ant. That's Durham, D'Ambrosio, obviously we had and then let slip. The Davidson one I'm not so upset about because I think there were some circumstances that didn't align for us to take him to start with. So I'm not too mad on that one. And I still think the Davidson that's playing at the Bulldogs wouldn't be the Davidson that would play for us, if that makes sense. They got a bit more experience around them. But you don't want to miss another one, all right? You don't want to miss one more. Yeah, the goal centre's huge. Like, imagine him. When I say him, I mean Razzo, Steely Green, Seth Campbell, Morris Jr., Alga, a few players, yeah, just nipping at the feet of the big boys up forward, which would be good. Funny, yeah, maybe building his backline form for Anzac Day, possibly. Possibly. It'd be interesting to see. I mean, he didn't really do anything wrong, did he? If we're being honest, in terms of form and things like that. I don't think he did anything wrong. As Campbell Gray with a cheeky sidestep goes inside 50. Who's flying? Oh, Alga plays tall. I know he didn't grab it, but he plays tall. Oh, that's a bad handball. Oh, no, was that force it? Went without it. Tyler Sonsi just got smashed, but legally.
Symptomatic of the way they've been playing, actually, Frankston.
Yeah, maybe the Blight one's interesting. RFC Centre Blight was just dropped. There's no other story to it. Just squeezed out. Oh, he's definitely very unlucky. Absolutely. Very, very unlucky. I mean, if we're talking pound for pound versus Bolter, for example, and Bolter's obviously done his time for the suspension stuff and then played in the VFL game, which I fully agreed with playing the VFL game. I don't think it's a no-brainer, but that's a good tackle by the Frankston player. But I guess what's interesting is that it's probably also a thing about Samson Ryan maybe offers more in the ruck than what Blight does potentially. So that could be another part of the puzzle too. Yeah, Craig, and like I said, it's not a slight on Harry at all because I love what the kid's doing. But we've shown that we've been pretty conservative with bringing players back. And if there's only sort of 4 or 5 games left when he's available again, do you just put him on ice, get him fully right for next year? He can hit the gym and do whatever he's got to do. But if it gives you a chance to bring Massimo Razzo in, who potentially could come in and play AFL from the time we pick him up, if we pick him up, it's a bit of a trade-off. Gold Coast do play 2 ruckmen. Yeah, fair call, Trader. And Jared Witts is a gun ruckman, right? I think he's really underrated. And I think bringing Samson Ryan in, if anything, is to try and work him over as well if he gets the chance. So I'm actually all for it. Alex Nunn, I think all roads have been pointing to Smiley debuting on Anzac Eve. Oh, who was that flying? Maybe I'm living in a little bit of hope. I know I've seen a lot of other people say the same thing. Oh, he's turned it over in the middle. Snack pack, he's been done. Oh, yeah, it's on the ball. He did not think he was going to get paid advantage there. I think that all roads lead to Smiley playing Anzac Eve, depending on how he gets through today or tonight. So the plan's meant to be that he plays 3.5 quarters, a full game or whatever it might be. And he would have to do that to be at least in contention. But the reason why I would play him on Anzac Eve, even if we didn't think he was fully ready from a rust perspective, as long as he was fitness perspective okay, from a touch perspective, I would play him because one of the big things playing for Richmond is being able to play in front of the big crowds on the marquee games on the big stage. And due to our own shit performances last year, we don't have that type of fixture, right? So it's just fair enough. I get it. It makes sense. So the games we do have in those marquee slots, I think it would be great to give the kids exposure to that. Just to give them a taste of this is what it's like when the Tiger Army's up and about. I know Melbourne aren't flying, so the crowd might be not as great as we maybe once thought. But I would give him a crack on the big stage and just say, this is what it's all about. Here it is. But I might be in the minority. Are they trying to reward Ryan for his VFL form? That's a good call too, Phonics. And he was genuinely one of the best on ground in the Brisbane game. He was the leading disposal getter with about 23 touches, kicked 1 goal, 3. Was taking plenty of marks around the ground, which has obviously been one of the knocks on Samson Ryan recently. Well, not recently, but for his career. So, yeah, based on form, I believe his form has warranted a look in. I do think it's a good call. Who wrote it? Someone wrote it about, yeah, Declan. Kalina's looked much better than Hayes Brown. I agree, mate. I agree. And interesting that we actually went with Kalina from the first centre bounce. Like I've said on a couple of occasions, that Kalina's a really interesting prospect for me because we have just mismanaged him horrifically. And it's no secret that our fitness staff and conditioning staff got a lot wrong in the last couple of years. And Kalina's back injury is one of them. And I know... Oh, that was a bad handball. I know that he's been really dirty about how he's been handled as well. And I'm really, really glad that we stuck it out and kept him for another year and gave ourselves and himself a chance to get his body right to see what he can do, because he's got a footy background. He's not a complete noob to football, and there could be something in it. So I'm really glad that he's having a good crack at it. Yeah, Smiley's been a bit quieter this quarter. Good tackle. That's got to be holding the ball. Yes. Get into him. It's also on blokes like Smiley to drive blokes like Camden out of a job. Yeah, and it's really hard because I completely agree, RFC, that we want to have competition for spots, and you don't want to give token games. I get it. And I'm not saying you're suggesting that's what I said. I'm just saying in general. But when it comes to getting a young kid in on the big stage like that, I'd be more inclined to pull the trigger on it giving it a tokenish type game. But he's got his form's been okay. As long as he's match fit, I would roll the dice and say, here's your top line exposure on the big lights, and just see how you go, son. No, I don't think they were rewarding him for his VFL performance. Just think they wanted to see some confidence. Possibly. I think there's a few factors with Samson Ryan. I do think they're rewarding some of his performance at VFL. I think they're also acknowledging that Jared Witts is a good ruckman and they want to work him over. And I think it's a little bit about, they obviously rate Samson Ryan's ruck work better than Blight's. And to be honest, this might not be a popular opinion, but from a purely tap ruck perspective, Samson's actually a better tap ruck than Nankervis because he's taller than him, right? So around the ground, Nank's obviously a beast, an animal, and does so many other things that Samson doesn't. But from a pure tap ruck perspective, in terms of giving our midfield use of the ball, I actually would have Samson Ryan ahead of Nankervis simply because he's taller and has a bit of a jump. So hopefully we get some first use. Bit of a stalemate this quarter in some ways. How many holding the balls have there been? Yeah, and that's it. RFC, Ryan's a ruckman. Agree. Noah Smiley's been burnt by his teammates. Just give him that footy. Oh. Well, that was win rate when Sammy gets... Oh, yeah, 100%. Very good, Phonics. He knows what to do. It's like his trademark celebration, you reckon? A bit of a helicopter. Sonzi with another disposal. Oh, yeah, nice kick. I got... Pick it up. Oh, God. Force it almost got put in the next week then. Razzo's gone past MRJ draw. That's a big call. That's a big call. Campbell Growy best 22 by season's end. I'm calling it now, Declan. I don't mind that. I thought he was really unlucky not to have played this year, and he was unlucky not to have played last year as well. I think he was hitting good form and then injured himself, which is why he missed out. But as a forward, I think that he was going to come in though, as we have a flying shot for goal. It's going to get marked. The problem is though, our backline's not. I don't think our backline's our issue though. And I know we're conceding some scores, but I believe that's because our midfield pressure is sloppy in the second half and they get too much easy ball. I think the defenders actually do a reasonably good job. And I know Miller had a dirty week last week on Tracy, but prior to that, he had a really good 3 games, I reckon, Miller. Broad, they're not going to drop. Vlossen, they're not going to drop. Trainer, there's no way you're dropping him. Bolter's just come back. So even though Campbell Gray's doing really well at VFL level, I'm not actually sure how we fit him in. That was a good grab. Would have liked to have seen a spoil there. Oh, thank you, eh? Essendon 68, West Coast 62 in the fourth quarter. Geez, wouldn't that be nice if West Coast knocked them off? I don't think that would put them above Kangaroos because of percentage. But yeah, didn't the Roosh hit the bet again today? Oh, good mark by the tap. Play the mark. Jesus Christ. I don't think the media's ready for a helicopter celebration. Fair call. Jasper! Oh, Jasper and Massimo there. They are there. Crumbing. Disappointing Jasper didn't hold that. RFC Santa says McCall is an absolute tank, but he looks like he's carrying too much muscle, needs to shed a couple of kilos. I said, yeah, maybe. Maybe it's an element of that, or getting used to his body. Little from column A, little from column B, potentially. He's a unit, though, isn't he? He's a big man. Big man. Helicopter like the Bruno movie. Well, we're still 22-34 here in the second quarter, and I forgot to put the timer on. I'll do that for the third quarter. Sorry, folks. Yeah, what did everyone think of the Kangaroos result today? Very, very much in our favour. They've lost the plot, the Kangaroos. They are not believing in themselves at all right now, and that is music to our ears. Is Smiley with a great pick up in the middle. Not a great kick, though. Ben Williams, look at Rao this year. Shed some kilos, is doing much better. Good shout. He's been looking really good this year, actually, Matt Rao. Very, very good. Wait, do we need Essendon or West? Can North Melbourne get jumped by... Oh, no, Essendon already above them. Okay, so West Coast would still fall short, even if they were to win based on percentage. But they've fallen 12 points behind. Yeah, North are definitely in no man's land. I agree. I think that's a good call. North didn't try, looking pretty good for us. It's, like we said at the time, it was a ballsy call to trade that pick to us. I mean, at some point in time, you've got to back yourself in as a club, and I get that, and they probably felt that that was the point in time they want to back themselves. They bought in Caleb Daniel, they bought in Jack Darling, Luke Parker, who I thought at the time on the surface were really good additions, and I thought they would really help them out. But it just seems like other players haven't really gone on with it as much as they should have. McKirch has not done a hell of a lot this year. Sheasel struggled a bit today. But yeah, a huge call to give us their first round pick. You're taking them, why do you keep tipping North? What are you doing? You got a death ride then, mate. Gotta go the death ride. You know, it's near the it's end times when you find silver lining and hoping the Blues win. I know not many of us would have wanted to cheer for Carlton today. But yeah, I tell you what, from a completely selfish perspective, thank you. I'm in a Supercoach draft comp at work. So there's like 10 teams. Oh, that's a good goal from Frankston. There's 10 teams we've got. And it's 15 players per team, I think it is. And I had the first pick of the draft, and I drafted Harry Sheasel. And I'm not really thinking that's turned out well for me so far. But the very, very last player of the entire draft that I took was George Hewitt. And he's been amazing this year for me. He got like 171 points today in Supercoach. Crazy. Thank you for the follow as well, Steve. Much appreciated. Tip with the head, death ride with the heart. Frankston with a very timely goal there. It is actually awfully hot out here too. Who drops out, Stephen? Who drops out for Gibkiss? Oh yeah, that's a very good question. And when's he back? The when is his back part, I think we'll see him after the mid-season break, maybe a little bit later. I know a lot of people are getting frustrated with not seeing Gibkiss, fully understandable too. But I respect how Serpil's handling it, and he's gone on record a couple of times saying the reason why they've gone so conservative is because he's had two major traumatic leg injuries to the same side, and I hadn't really thought of that at the time when I was getting a bit pissy. So it was really a timely and good point for him to make, even for me to understand it a bit more. So having two traumatic leg injuries to the same side, they're wanting just to really be careful. As Tyler Sonzi snaps a goal. Good reply, Tyler Sonzi. 21 touches. The goal. See, I think we'll see him later in the year, and he'll probably have to come back via the VFL as well, I would imagine. But to answer the first part of your question, who comes out for him, I've got no idea. I actually floated the idea that when Gibcus comes back, assuming the back line's still stable, I can actually see him playing forward. I think one of them will have to, whether it's Gibcus or Bolter, and it won't be Bolter. I think we can probably land on that now. But Gibcus, even in some of his earlier games that he played with us, did swing forward and showed some really good leading patterns, good marking. I truly think that Gibcus is a very strong candidate to go forward when he comes back. That might not be a popular opinion either, but we have to fit him in somehow. You're not going to drop Bolter. Miller, Smiley gets another clearance to Sonzi, who's in the guts again. What a surprise that is. I know people are going to say drop Miller, but statistically speaking, he wins a lot of his one-on-one contests, and I really truthfully don't think Richmond are going to drop him. And like I said, he had a dirty game against Tracy, but with the amount of ball that's going in there, that's probably bound to happen, unfortunately. And yeah, I don't think we'll be dropping Miller at any point in time, unless he has like 4 or 5 stinkers. So yeah, I think Gibcus might have to go forward. After he's had 22 touches and a goal in the first half, he's putting on a clinic. Agree, mate. Agree. Another touch here, I think it was. Oh, Smiley with a strong mark. Pay the mark. Oh, bullshit. That is a shocking decision. Seen far less paid. Smiley's been absolutely robbed there. Absolutely robbed. Oh, but he just burst through. Was that Kane McCall that's holding the ball? Oh, no. Play on. Got to Anthony. 100% as Elga intercepts. No, hit the post. Out in the full. Had to be a mark or a free kick there. Wowee. Stephen, our backline stack's not going to mention the name, but can you trade out a player who's just signed a long-term contract? No, I don't think so. Yeah, obviously I agree. Miller won't be dropped. Won't be dropped. Planted, it's on the AFL website. So if you go to the AFL website and if you click on like the fixture where you would usually look at the AFL games, on the drop down on the top left side, there will be, you can go down to VFL Premiership, click on that, and then go to round 6 or whatever it is, round 5. And I'll have watch now on the Richmond vs Frankston game. Yeah, it's an interesting problem, isn't it, Noah, with so many key defenders. And we've still got Tyler Young. Tyler Young's going to come back from his ACL as well, who was showing some really, really good signs early days as a defender. He will probably be one that will struggle to crack back in. Blight, we've obviously seen him play at both ends of the ground. Campbell Gray, and I'm not saying this guy's going to crack the AFL squad, but Kazitsky's even playing defence now because that's the only way he was going to make it in. So yeah, we've got shitloads down there. And this is why, and I don't want to cause arguments here, but this is why I think that if we are to enter the Harley Reed race in a very serious manner, I think we might have to get creative, and maybe it's someone like Jacob Blight, who is a WA boy, and West Coast have lost Barras in last year. There might be an appeal there from West Coast to get Blight. Now, I know that when the mid-season draft was happening, Freo and West Coast were both going to get Blight, and they were a bit dirty that we took him. So I think that there could be an appealing proposition for West Coast on Jacob Blight because of their need and him being a WA boy. If we're to enter the race for Reed, it just might be something that has to happen. But there's a lot to play out there, so that's very hypothetical of me. But just to throw something out there, I guess. That was a nice mark by Swizzle. Oh, Hayes Brown, arms up in the air. You love to see it. Not long left to go in the second quarter. He took his legs out. How was that not taking the legs out? When Jacob Hopper gets done for bullshit far less than that. Frustrating. Essendon 75, West Coast 63, 7 minutes to go. I mean, up the Eagles, I guess. Up the Eagles. Vault Boy Gaming. Brown might go forward. Yeah, it's a fair shout. He could go forward or a wing. I saw he did that last year, didn't he? But it's not really like for like, though, is it? Gibcus and Brown. It's probably a positional difference. I get your point, though. It is something to consider. I agree. Oh, Richmond are attacking here. Richmond 17. I'll get to your question in a second. Fawcett, that's... Oh, Smiley hasn't got the ball. Give him... Yeah, thank you. So I get a bit passionate about free kicks.
Numbers everywhere. They had looked up early, the Tigers. They had numbers streaming.
Come on, Smil, get it in there.
He's a nice player, this kid, isn't he?
He's a big kid. Inside 50 we go. Oh, Jasper Alga's just gone flying through the pack there. Oh, Jasper's got the free kick. Could be after the siren.
Lucky, I think it was Moran who caught the high shot.
Richmond 17. Why do we think Sonzi has not been given a chance in the midfield in the ones? I don't understand it. We continue to play Dow there, not Macca. Oh, sorry, and now Macca, but refuse to play a guy who seems to me a lot better. Mate, look, I'm also a big fan of what Dow's been doing, so I'm not going to shit can Dow because I think he's done really well this year. But your point is still 100% correct. It makes zero sense. And it's not just this game either, as Jasper Alga wheels around and slots a beautiful goal. Get this kid in. Get Jasper in. He's my man. We've seen not only in this game, but in his last VFL game, if you actually go back and look at the stats for the last 3 or 4 VFL games of 2024 as well, Sonzi, this is an honest pattern that he'll play midfield minutes in the VFL, dominate, get 8 to 9 clearances plus, get 30 touches on a consistent basis, right? And then goes to AFL level like we all know and see and plays half forward. I can't make sense of it. Like I said earlier, if we want to stick with our A graders at the start of the game, I can understand it. But when the game's done, give him a chance. In his underage, if you go and read his underage profile on Draft Central or Rookie Me, it was all about how good he was at clearances, a clearance machine, this, that, and the other. Does it at VFL level. And as someone put in the chat earlier, it makes no sense that he plays midfield here and then plays half forward in the AFL. If we're only going to play him as a half forward in the AFL, as someone wrote in chat earlier, then why not play him at half forward in the VFL so we can actually apply apply his craft on both forms of football and get better at it, because he just seems a bit lost sometimes. Nah, RFC, I'm all in on Alga. I'm not calling nothing. I'm all in on him. No, his time will come. I like him. He will I will guarantee you he will play senior football this year. He will end up being too good to be dropped. I love him. He has a crack, good goal sense, plays tall. I think he'll be very valuable in the AFL side over the coming years for sure. No, I love Dow. I think he's doing amazing this year. Don't think he's part of the future. No, and that's a fair call too. And the 1-year contract says as much, doesn't it? I mean, Dow is definitely serving his purpose as a plug-and-play midfield player. He's serving a really good purpose. But to your point, the reason why it was a 1-year contract is because you would then assume that the players are going to come on in leaps and bounds and pass him. And I think that's just a natural progression thing. Oh, Essendon 76, West Coast 69, 4 minutes to go. Caleb Smith, good tackle. Hold on here. Oh, Razzo down the back line. Smiley, good handball. Oh, Razzo in trouble here. I don't think he had prior though. Play on. Could be too high there. Led with his head. Ring the siren. Oh, I missed a Richmond behind. Smiley's doing okay, Cody. He had a couple of nice moments. Hasn't got a shitload of the ball, but hasn't wasted it when he's got it. He's always been doing pretty efficient things, which is all you can ask for. There's Frankston at the back here. Oh, he's missed. Good tackle. Good tackle. Anthony, future looking very bright at the very least, for sure. Yeah, and a lot of people will raise the question about keeping the list together. The way I kind of look at it, and this might be a very simplistic way to look at it, but you only have to look back 5, 6, 7 years when we had Elga. When we were able to keep Lynch, Bolton, Cochin, Martin, Rewalt, Rance, Prestia. We were able to keep all of those guys, Edwards, on the book simultaneously for multiple years during our good years. So it just feels like it's going to be that, but 2.0. And the one thing I take a lot of comfort in is I reckon that Blair Hartley and our team with managing contracts are one of the best in the AFL. The way they smooth out the contracts and reshuffle things, I don't have any fears in that whatsoever. I reckon we'll be fine. Would you consider trying to get an interview with Uzo? I would love to, Phonics. I would love to. I've reached out to the club to try and connect with them and to try and build a relationship with them, but I've not really had much luck in hearing anything back. So I'll try again. It's really disappointing to hear other clubs treating their fan-based podcast like the enemy. And so the example I'll give is Blues Abroad, who a lot of you probably are aware of, Terry. The Carlton Football Club have said publicly that they view him as a competitor, which to me is batshit crazy. It's a big, the fan-based podcasts are a huge point of difference because we can obviously say it how it is without repercussions. The club have got to toe the company line. I get it. And like I said, I know the club know who we are, what we do, and they watch us. I know that for fact. And I would love to get more involved with them and help out by advertising some of their stuff and plugging events or whatever. And it'd be great to get players on or coaches on. It's just a tricky one to navigate. So hopefully they'll reach back out and we can make something work. It'd be awesome to get Uze on, even if it was for 10, 15 minutes. Even if it wasn't Uze, even like Chris Newman, Jack Zeeble, any of the coaches, it would be amazing. It'd be really good. Melanie, I've got no idea. It's a great question. Why can't Sonsie play in the midfield when Hopper and Taranto come off? I don't know. And I would love to know. I would love to know the answer to that. That would be my first question if Uze was to ever come on. Bookmark it. Declan, I could see Elga passing Steely soon as much as I like Steely. I don't disagree with you. I think Steely's doing well. Elga, I think, is going to be a serious player. And we've got to remember with Elga, he's actually the youngest player on our list. He turned 18 at the very end of December. So he's doing extremely well. Yeah, RSL, I fully get it, mate. I fully understand that's not a dig at Dow. And I think, I would say deep down he knows that that's what's happening as well, if that makes sense. But he's putting his best foot forward to give himself a chance, right? And that's all we can ask of him, which is good. Who's going to likely take on from Shaw in our current list if we didn't get somebody? What do you mean on that one, Phonics? Noah, a midfield next year consisting of Taranto, Hopper, Reed, McAuliffe, Sonsie, Lawler, Smiley, Ross, Rodriguez, Dersma. Looks good. I know. And you forgot Houghton, Taj Houghton. Don't forget him. Michael Terry, he's a good guy. I met him at the photo shoot for the age at the G. He was a lovely guy. He was really polite and kind to my kids who were there as well. He was chatting to them, kicking the footy with them. And yeah, he was really kind to give advice and help me out with a few bits and pieces. So I've got nothing but good things to say about Terry for sure. And to be honest, I use people like him and a lot of like Pommy and things like that as a bit of inspiration. And I watch the things they do and I think, how can I try and do that and put a Richmond twist on it? And I don't want that to seem like I'm copying. In a way I am, but they've been so open and sharing ideas and saying, you should try this, or we've done this, it'd be worth having a go for you guys. I think what a lot of people maybe don't realize is how helpful and how open a lot of content creators are with each other. Like, we're all trying to help each other as much as we can. And I really respect and appreciate people like Terry and Pommy and those bigger guys. Riles Macca, who had me on doing like a video clip for some of his stuff too. It's really helpful. It's good to get ideas and stuff from them. They're really good. Oh, Westerton 77, West Coast 75, 1 minute to go. 1 minute to go. Thank you, A, for the updates. Sonsie's only had 26 up to half time. I know, Planet. It's crazy, isn't it? It's crazy. It's weird. Richmond 17. The other main thing about Sonsie is he's different, in my opinion, to Dow, Ross, Hopper, and Timmy, who are all very similar to me. None of them are great kicks. 100% Richmond 17. 100%. And we talk about it a hell of a lot, that we're very flat-footed and we are pretty gassed in the second half. So for that reason alone, I don't understand why we haven't tried a Seth Campbell or a Morris Jr. or a Tyler Sonsie in there to break it up a bit. I'm with you. Smiley looking good. Skidoosh, yeah, he is. No, yeah, Tanner Armstrong, he looks very good. I'm trying to get the time together to do highlights from his Geelong Falcons game from last week, which was his first game for the year against Archie Daffy. So he plays for Murray against Geelong Falcons, but he looks really good. So he's still an underager, and he's playing centre bounce midfield time for the Bush Rangers. Now, I'm not sure if that says more about the Bush Rangers or him. Like, I don't really know if they're a strong side this year or not yet. But yeah, He's looking very nice, Tanner Armstrong. So keep an eye for him, folks. NGA Academy prospect for 2026. Sonzi played in the wrong position when he comes into the AFL. Agree, Skadoosh. I'm gonna double down on my Now Hear Me Out video. I'm gonna make another one because I'm dead adamant that we are shooting ourselves in the foot by not playing him in the guts. Oh, the Bombers hold on, 77-75. Geez, fair play to West Coast, or Western just shit. What did everyone take out of that? How was Mackay, out of interest? We'll go through the stats of the VFL. Disposals. Yeah, Sonzi, like a few of you mentioned, 26 disposals. He's already on 101 fantasy points, like, honestly. 5 marks, 3 tackles. Caleb Smith, 16. McCall 12. Wilson, 12. Garner, 10. Smiley, 10. Now, Smiley, will it let me click on it? No. I would say that Smiley's going at about 85 to 90% efficiency would be my guess. Smiley's had 2 clearances. Wilson, 4. Sonzi, 2 clearances. Sonzi's also had 7 inside 50s as well. He's having a good game. He's having a very good game. Is that right? Eagles had a 30-point lead. Jesus, you should never blow a 30-point lead. Let's talk about West Coast quickly. They're in a world of hurt. And I say that because Oscar Allen, their captain, has quite clearly made it very, very out there, knowing that he's wanting out and allegedly to Brisbane, which pisses me off because it's going to make Brisbane even stronger. Harley Reed is seemingly gettable, and Victoria clubs will be queuing up to offer them whatever. And we are obviously in a prime position to get Harley Reed. So they are, if they lose Reed and Oscar Allen in the space of 2 years, that is a big, big kick up the arse for them. That's shocking. And I don't know if there's culture issues. I don't know if they don't like Minnie McQualter. I don't know what the go is. But that is not a good sign for them if those 2 players leave. And I would say that Allen is almost certainly gone. And Harley Reed won't be far behind if what we're hearing is correct. So on the Harley Reed topic, who would be all for Harley Reed and who was against Harley Reed? So it's really interesting because the Harley Reed we're seeing this year, to A's point, he just put the stats in there, Reed 6 touches. It's not great what we're seeing this year. And I am completely understanding of that. And that's the risk factor. If we get the Harley Reed of this year, it's not worth trading anything they ask for, to be honest. If we get the Reed of last year, it's worth it. Now, the Dusty and Trent duo, I disagree with that. So, unfortunately, Harley Reed wouldn't even consider us. Now, I've heard from people who told us about the Harley Reed stuff before it even got to media, that from his camp's perspective, ladder positions aren't the concern. It's about he wants to go to a club who's got a proven good culture, who's proven they've had good winning ways and things like that. I don't think it's as clear cut as what some people think. I think a lot of people see, Richmond are last, no one's going to want to go there. But we still have attractive traits, and he's going to be coming through with a whole young list all together at the same time and building something special if he was to pick us. So while he might pick someone else still, I don't think we're out of it because of our ladder position. I think there's a lot more to us as a football club, and there's reasons why we are where we are, but we still have a strong culture. We're still providing really good things that are attractive to players. So don't discount us because of how we're playing, is all I'll say. But like I said, he still could choose someone else, but yeah, it's not. I don't think it's as clear cut as that yet. Carlton did do us a good favour having a crack. Yeah, they definitely did. It was difficult to barrack for him, but it had to be done. It had to be done. It's lowering his price. Phonics around the Butters. Butters is a tough one. I almost feel like he's 2 years ahead of where we need to be. For me, the reason why I think Reed's more attractive is because he's the same age almost as some of these draftees. But Butters is I would say he is a more rounded, a more consistent player. I just don't know if he fits right with the age profile. I mean, I won't say, if he wants to come to us, I won't say no. Will not say no. Reed needs to go to a stronger team. And possibly, but you'd still like to see him shine even in a shit team. Like you think about Brett Delidio, for example. We were rubbish for 95% of the time he was with us, but yet he was able to shine and stand out as a number one pick. You would kind of want Harley Reed to be able to do the same type of thing, I guess. So that was the Essendon Reed, right? So Harley Reid had 17. Okay, that's a bit better. That's a bit better. Jack, why Dow over Sondy in the middle? We're not too sure. I'm loving what Dow's doing just quietly. I've got no problem with him playing there. My problem's more when the game's done. Why aren't we giving Sonzy a go? Why aren't we giving Seth Campbell a go? And no one really knows the answer. It's a complete mystery. It's a mystery. Dave, you reckon he's tanking? I like it. Yeah, so Stephen, if we were to trade for Harley Reid this year, which I've heard they were open to doing, I've also heard that we won't trade both of our picks this year, and I wouldn't do it if West Coast said we want both of your picks this year. I wouldn't do it. It'd be like, no. I'd be happy to split picks. I'd happy to keep our pick this year and trade North plus a future first pick, or like I said before, maybe someone like Jacob Blight's involved as well in some way, shape, or form. So there's other ways we can make it work, but I'm pretty confident in saying the club will not pass up both picks this year. They will 100% keep one of them at least. Ideally, if we can somehow get away with giving up 2 futures and keep this year's 2, that would be amazing, but I can't see that happening, to be honest. Volt, Reed had 17 disposals, 3 marks and 4 tackles. That's not so bad. Well, assuming that they were good disposals, I guess. Benjamin, how are you, mate? You've openly talked about this, but man, how have we never tried Sonzy on the ball? What's wrong with here? I know. No, the Macintosh experiment I'm okay with, because I think at the stage where we're at in our footy, we do need a tagger. What I'm not okay with is when he's in there and not tagging. So if we don't intend on playing Camden Macintosh as a tagger, then don't put him in the midfield. Give that minute to someone else. If we're going to play him on Sarong, if we're going to play him on Butters or Cripps, I'm fine with it, because I really do think it helps us out in a big way. But yeah, don't put him in the guts just to play as a midfielder. So, Hoops, hey mate, Sonzy needs to ask for a trade, and that truthfully scares me, because it just has the vibes, Hoops, that he'll go to another club, they'll give him the opportunity, and he'll kill it. It just has that written all over it, doesn't it? Like, imagine he went to like a GWS and was in their starting midfield with like Josh Kelly and Caniglio and whoever else they got over there, Callahan, and just slots in with them and just kills it. It would be frustrating. Scruffy, keep Worcester player up and coming Cubs. I think we can still get players, Scruffy. You got to remember the salary cap's increasing every year, and like I said before, we're one of the best clubs in managing caps. I think we've got enough money to either get a trade target or a free agent and look after these guys. Like I said before, we were able to keep, Rance, Cochin, Rewalt, Dusty, Lynch, Prestia, Caddy, Grimes. We're able to keep all of those guys on the list at the same time for multiple years, monetary-wise, so I don't think we'll have any problems doing it again. Having a correct, Butters could have a strong connection with Lawler, both back as marshlands. Oh, I didn't know that. There we go. That would be interesting. Ash wants Duff Tytler. What do you like about Duff Tytler, Ash? I know there's a bit of a unicorn ruckman, but what are your thoughts? Richmond 17. Do we not think Lawler and Reed are too similar? What teams have 2 balls like that in their midfield? Maybe, but I would say that there's an explosive element to both of their games too. It's a good question. From what I've heard from Richmond's standpoint, they view pairing Reed and Lawler as a generational midfield. That's what their take on it is. I do understand your point though. And I think to further elaborate on that, if you think back to Blair Hartley's interview after the draft or during the draft, that the club think that they envision the game going to a more contested game in the future. So they're kind of banking on how they think the game is going to evolve as well, which may not happen. Like, it may not go down that path. So there's a bit of risk versus reward there as well. CDT or the best mid? That's a good question, isn't it? I mean, Nanks on his, I want to say last legs is probably a bit harsh, isn't it? But he's definitely on the later side of his career. We've got Kalina in the VFL doing okay, but we don't know how that will turn out. Hayes Brown, again, doing okay. Don't know how that will turn out. Samson Ryan, we'd love for it to click, but we're not really sure that will turn out. Duff Tytler, if we were to draft him, may not be ahead of those guys for a couple of years anyway. And I know a lot of people say you shouldn't use number one picks on a ruckman if we have the number one pick. But the exception to that rule for me is if the player's a unicorn, that like a Nick Nat type player. And Duff Tytler is very close to being in that territory. So if we go to the draft with both of our picks, I think we can take the risk on him and then a midfielder. If we go with just one pick and use the other pick for a trade, I'm not sure. I really don't know what we would do. It's a really tough one. Phonics, do you think we will see Sam utilised in the forward line sometime this year? Sam, as in Sam Lawler? Is that who you mean? Grey Stoke, how are you, mates? Sondy definitely making a point. It's almost a bit of a flip the bird, isn't it? In some ways. Leo, welcome. Do you think we could see Morris playing halfback similar to Daniel? Good call. Good question. I've said a few times, I would love to see Morris play in the midfield for a little bit. I know people will say he hasn't got the fitness base yet and whatever, but you know, in the second half when we're getting smashed anyway, just try something. He's got speed. He loves to chase, hunts the ball, hunts the man with the ball. I'd like to see him play some midfield minutes. He has in the VFL too, so it's not uncommon for him. But halfback, yeah, it could be. I think we should be open to trying anything, to be honest. Whatever we think may advance ourselves. It's an interesting call. Interesting call. Jack Dyer, welcome, Jack. Good to see you. See this stat from Fox Sports. Question mark. Defensive 50 to inside 50, 18%. Worst start since 2014. We're really lacking right out of the back line. Is there a half back available? Yeah, it's no secret that the loss of Dan Rioli was probably the biggest impact to our team, wasn't it? With the run he generated. And unfortunately, Jaden Short just seems a bit void of confidence again. He's not doing that same type of run. I think Tom Brown seems the obvious answer to me, but we don't seem to get the ball in his hands enough. But I think if we can start to do that, we'll see some more drive and penetration from the back line. But Dan Rioli was just a different beast, wasn't he? The run, the dash. Caleb Smith is one that's been doing it in the VFL, but I don't think he's ready to do the Dan Rioli role quite yet. Does Taj Houghton have a chance of doing that down the track? I'm not sure. But yeah, I don't know. It wasn't that long ago that halfbacks were a bit of a nothing position. Now they're probably the most important spot in the side, aren't they? And we've definitely felt the impact of him not being there. And that's one of the reasons why Ed Richards was like number one on my list, but it sounds like he's about to re-sign for the Bulldogs, which I'm shitty about. But I would have gone full on at Ed Richards for that reason. Absolutely. Jack Webb, how are you, mate? We've got to get Razzo in the mid-season draft. I know Presty's injury hasn't gotten better. Agree. Yeah, the way his injury reads does not fill me with confidence at all. And I love Prestia and I love what he's done for the club and I feel he should go out on whatever terms he wants. But when the report keeps saying 3 to 4 weeks ago, I just can't see it getting any better anytime soon. I don't know. Like, you don't want to tap the guy on the shoulder, but you don't want to miss out on Razzo. My other hypothetical was Harry Armstrong could be a long-term injury, potentially wrapping in cotton wool for next year, and then we can get Razzo that way. Tyrone, Lawler and Reed together would be like having Dusty, both never rest forward and consistently be resting forward. Yeah, that's right. You would have one forward, one midfield, and just alternate. It'd be unbelievable to watch. Chuck Smiley in the mix too. Ash would slot in perfect as Nank coming to the back end of the career. Will be an extra mid. He's pretty good at ground ball, isn't he, old Duff Tytler? I don't know why people are so negative on MJ, Dusty and Trent duo. I think some people forget how young he actually is. Like, he's still a kid in his own right. And I feel like people are harsh on him because they think he gets a game because of his name. I want to see him in the AFL more and more. I think he's a confidence player. But we saw last week in that first half what he's capable of. The pressure, the tackling, the smooth moving, the 2 goals. Like, that's what you want to see. So I'm all for Morris. Andrew, as people alluded to in chat, if you go to the AFL website or the app and then go to the VFL section, you'll be able to watch the game there. The third quarter is about to start. The umpires are out in the middle of the ground. It's just loaded back up. Brown needs to find the ball more. Declan agree, because he's a weapon. Like, even last week, in that second half when things weren't going well. He was still taking risky kicks, and we need more of it. So get it in his hands more. Is that one of the main reasons we get stuck in our 50? Yeah, we do lack a lot of that run from behind. Yeah, out of the back half. It's frustrating. We just need someone to take the mantle and just do it. Just be that daring, dashing halfbacker. And that's why the Gold Coast are so hard to beat, because they've got Noble and Dan Rioli now just burning off the half-back line. You know, Collingwood got Dan Houston when he's playing, doing the same thing. Everyone needs an elite half-back, and I don't know if we've got an elite one yet. Is it an important game for Samson's career having a crack? Oh, it's a tough question. Not in isolation. Like, I know I probably went really far-fetched with my Now Hear Me Out video on Samson Ryan early in pre-season. His pre-season form is sounding really good. I still think with Samson Ryan, and I might be in the minority, he is still very young for a ruckman. You look at all the good rucks in the competition, most of them didn't come on until they were 25, 26, 27. Samson Ryan's still only 24. Now, granted, we still want to see more consistent performances from him. We want to see him taking marks and impacting around the ground. So I get all that, and I don't disagree with it. But I'm not prepared to write him off yet. I would love to see him get... Sonzi's just picked up 2 disposals in 5 seconds. I'd love to see Samson Ryan get a 4 or 5 game crack as being the main ruck. But the problem is it won't happen because Nank's captain, which I love Nank being captain, don't get me wrong. But we're not going to drop him, right? Which is fair enough. So, my other thing on Samson Ryan too, the club gave him a 3-year contract last year. Now, I know that's probably divided a lot of people, but just in my opinion, as a football club, you don't offer someone who's playing in the VFL a lot a 3-year contract if you think he's just going to be a VFL player, right? You only offer someone like that a 3-year contract if you think that he's going to be featuring somewhere in your side in the future. It just doesn't make sense otherwise, because there's plenty of ruckmen at state league level you could get in, like what we did with Naismith, to fill a void. And we obviously had Hayes Brown and Kalina as well, as Fawcett takes a nice mark. So I just think the club sees something in him. Yeah, I get that RFC Centre is not showing anything meaningful at AFL level, but he hasn't had the same opportunities either. Like, he's trying to compete against Nank, a number 1 ruck who hardly misses in recent times anyway. So it's a really hard one to gauge. I'm still prepared to give him time, and I think the club is as well. But just to sort of answer the question, good tackle. Holding the ball. No, in the back. Piss off. Jesus, that's shit. Honestly. Yeah, Bomber's very lucky. The Dyer Legacy. Thoughts on Juddy Clark? I love him. And like, it's probably not really a basis of anything to say that I love him as a footballer, because he hasn't played a lot. But from the footage for the games I have seen him play, he just has a lot of AFL-like traits. And one of the things that for me was most appealing with him is the speed in which he's able to get boot to ball cleanly for a shot at goal. Like, he's a very quick thinker. He's got a great footy brain. Dual-sided as well. And I'm really looking forward to him playing. Like, he's going to have to do a VFL stint first, I'm guessing. I don't know where he's going to be played though. I'm actually really keen to see what happens there. Whether it's a wing, maybe he could be a dashing half-back. I don't know if he's ever played that role before. But yeah, as Frankston just get the first mark inside 50. But maybe, could Juddy Clark be a half-back, do we think? What do we reckon there? JP, we're not going to win games until we get 2 runners into the half-back line. Juddy Clark, Silly Green, Josh Lindsay. Fair call. Funny, I actually said Juddy Clark before I even saw your comment. There you go. Juddy Clark on the half-back wing. Yeah, the wing, I reckon we're going to persist with Hugo Ralsmith and Trezise on the wing, which I'm fine with. I really like Hugo. I think he's a very good wingman, or he will be a very good wingman. And Trezise, I'm happy to see how that evolves. But yeah, Juddy Clark on a half-back line does interest me greatly. It does interest me, for sure. Bombers lucky to hang on. Yeah. Oh, yeah, West Coast winning Paulie D would have been nice for the lols. So Richmond 17, this is where it gets frustrating with Samson Ryan. So your marking comment, if we're talking about AFL, is probably really valid. But if you watch his VFL game the last game against Brisbane, he took about 9 or 10 marks. He was literally clunking everything. Contested marks, uncontested marks, in all parts of the ground. He was doing exactly what you would want to see from a ruckman, but it's like, can it happen at AFL level? That's the big question mark. And if he can get that confidence, who knows? If he can get that part of his game right, he'll make it. But it's a big if. It's a big if. When the club starts bulking Ryan up, we're going to have a solid player. Oh, I'll tell you what, Frankston are pushing here just quietly. It's early in the third quarter, but they are going forward again. Oh, slip the tackle. Good tackle. Tell you what, I like Kalina. He works hard. He's got a footy brain. Taps the ball well to the midfielders. There's truthfully a small part of me that has a very small glimmer of hope that he might make it. And I know that seems batshit crazy, but he competes well. Like, I kind of view him as our Mason Cox, if that makes sense. I know that sounds crazy. I'm even laughing at myself, but stranger things have happened. Jacob Bauer, inside 50, picks it up. Oh, slots the goal nicely. Well done, Jacob Bauer. Good work from Liam Forsyth up the ground there too. The Dye Legacy, would I prefer Banks on the wing over Trezise? Good question. Banks, I feel, is playing that bit of a mix from half-back to wing, isn't he? Well, there's a secondary question. Could Banks play the half-back role, the running half-back? But I think all through pre-season, I had Banks starting on the wing. So I'm going to say Banks, but I don't mind what they're trying with Trezise with the left footer side of things. And I think he's like working into the role really well. It's an interesting question. Who would you prefer? And everyone else in chat, who would you prefer? Sam Banks on the wing or Trezise? Cosy with the header. Hugo's a stayer. Yeah, 100% Craig. I encourage all of you, when we play tomorrow night, watch the amount of unrewarded running that Hugo Ralphsmith does. It's incredible. He runs so hard for sometimes no reward, which is what AFL players are expected to do, but he does it better than a lot of other players, and it opens up so much space for our teammates. Watch him. He's so good. Why isn't that holding the ball? Oh my God. This game for Bauer was important. Definitely a confidence player. Definitely a confidence player. Lou, you're bang on, mate. Ryan needs to believe he belongs at AFL level. If he doesn't believe, yeah, the penny won't drop. 100%. And the problem is, to get him to believe, he needs to play consistently. And it's just a match decision thing. And he needs to play more ruck time too. It's a really tough one. Could Campbell Gray play in the wing? Oh, that's an ugly kick, and it's just fell into the arms. Wow. Jesus, this is almost an almost certain goal now for Frankston. They're making a charge here. Stephen, Sam Davidson. Oh, look, I can understand why people are shitty we didn't get him. I get it, but I'm not too cut up on that one because I've said this before, at the risk of sounding like a broken record, but his form, in my opinion, didn't really warrant mid-season selection at the time. I felt like his better form after that point in time. And then in the national draft, we just simply didn't have the picks to do it. And the Sam Davidson at the Western Bulldogs wouldn't be the Sam Davidson we would see playing with us because they've got experience to support him so he can just play his role. See, I'm not too burnt by that one. Of course, it'd be nice to have him, but Banks doesn't have the foot skills to play half-back. He's a winger. Keep Trezise as our best one-on-one defender. Michael, these umpires serious. I know, mate. It's been a couple of shit ones. Yeah, RC, Hugo has had a couple of turnovers, but you know what? All of our players have had some bad turnovers, and with Hugo and any of our players, I'm completely okay if they have a howler of a turnover, if it's because they're trying an aggressive kick. I will never be shitty with that. If they're trying to take off a nice flat 45-degree pass to open the game up and it gets chopped off. Shit happens. I would rather them take that risky kick than play it safe and bomb it down the line and it turns over anyway. Hell, yeah, I'm going to say holding the ball. Oh, no. Bad play on. Got the handball. Caleb Smith. Handball's out. Sonzi, just clean as. Get him in the midfield in the ones, for God's sake. Inside 50. Oh, Bauer with the blind turn. Another turn. What is happening? Durham's the one, Neo. Bang on. Bang on. That's the one that hurts a bit more, actually. How good was Sonzi in that passage just quietly? Just clean pick up in the middle of the ground. Turns out. Beats two. Gets the handball away. Turning into a good game, this one. Oh, good spoil. Probably could have marked that. Oh, Caleb Smith a sitting duck there. Oh, don't you dare pay high. Good tackle. JP Trezise is our best one-on-one defender for smalls. He's so aggressive and agile. I love watching him play. Yeah, I'm really glad that he's had an extended run at this, which is good. Riddle, rough for players like Sonzi and Ross having to play more half forward on the ones. 100% Riddle. Like we were saying earlier, that if in the AFL system, if they don't think that Sonzi can play in the midfield and he can only play half forward, then why not let him play half forward in the VFL so he can actually master the role and be good at it instead of half-assing it? Because he smashes it in the midfield here, and we literally don't see it in the AFL because they don't put him there. It's infuriating. What about Stengel? I mean, that was a trade though, wasn't it? But he's done good things, hasn't he, since kicking on? He's had, obviously, his personal issues, but he has done some impressive things, it must be said. Yeah, Blight's not done as well as I was going to hope he was doing. Does El Norn get picked up mid-season? It'd be a good chance, I reckon, Declan. There'll definitely be clubs looking, I would say. We'll have a few too that will get looked at. Time slows down for Sonzi at this level. Fair shout. Eric, Michaels, I want to see Smill next week, but how can Uze be serious about selection integrity next week if you go Smill over Sonzi? Well, maybe they can both come in. Like I said earlier on, Eric, that I'm not a fan of gifting games as a general rule of thumb, but the exception I would maybe consider making is... Oh, shit. Could be goal here. We don't have many marquee games this year because of how shit we played last year, which is fine. And getting these kids to the club, it's all about selling them the vision. You know, you play for Richmond, you get these big time games, big time crowd on the big stage, and that would be why I would be seriously tempted to play Smiley, almost no matter what. But gotta warrant it too, I guess. Lou, hopefully Blair's had a chat to Hewitt from West Coast. Looks like the type of mid we need. He plays sub a lot, doesn't he, Lou? Oh, that's a great goal. Frankston are making a very good comeback here. JP loves Hugo, plays 4 quarters, one of our only halfback players who takes players on. He definitely does take players on. He has a dip. Riddle would rather see Taranto play more half forward. He was good around goals at GWS. I think we would all like that too. I guess the problem is that he left GWS because he didn't want to play half forward. He felt he was more of a midfielder. So that might be the sticking point. But I don't disagree with you. I think that's a fair call. Was Corns right with about Taranto? Gets a lot of the ball but turns it over. It really depends on how you view a turnover, as silly as it sounds. Because sometimes a lot of his kicks are blast kicks forward out of pack, so we probably can't count them as turnovers if they do go to the opposition. But if we're talking about like passing it, you know, to someone on a lead or whatever and missing it, I don't think he's too bad, is he? I don't know. Maybe he's worse than what I envision him. Jeez, we are getting stiffed here in a couple of decisions. Force it. Get him. Oh my God, he's gone through 3 of them. Another Richmond player's on the deck there, Campbell Gray. Hey, we got a free kick. Yassine, yeah, good call, Leo. Yassine has definitely had some good games recently. Again, he'll be another one that clubs have an eye out for. And we're probably being a little bit biased, I guess, because we love watching all of our players play, I suppose. But they're all exciting, aren't they? And I mean, they might not get picked up, but I think clubs will definitely have a look. Having a crack? You're a no to Smiley? How dare you? No, I can understand why we wouldn't play Smiley for Anzac Eve, because they might want to see more of a body of work, get more fitness in and stuff like that. However, I really do think that all roads have been pointing to an Anzac Eve debut. Maybe I'm being hopeful. It's weird though, because oddly enough, for that week, somewhat selfishly, I'm hoping he does play VFL, because I'm going to the VFL game, Richmond versus Casey. So it'd be awesome to see him playing, but I want him to play AFL too. Another free kick. We are getting robbed here. That was probably there though. JP, Torino's kicking efficiency has always been amongst the worst in the league. Not a fan at all. Yeah, some of the holdings are interesting. Kazitsky's just bombed it out. With the kicking percentages though, does it drop because of those blast kicks that may go to another person? Like, I think that's really harsh when players get judged, or the percentages drop because of those kicks. Because sometimes blast kicks out of packs are it's just one of those things that happens in AFL games, isn't it? But yeah, I don't know how you try and differentiate between it. Oh, Razzo, good tackle. Not sure how he got rid of that. We do need a goal here to settle things down a bit. We've kind of lost our way, and I feel like we've lost our heads a bit with some of the decisions too. We're probably going to get one against us there again. So it's going to be 50 here, watch. Oh, God. Our guys have lost their heads a bit. Will this year be the end of Jacob Kazitsky? What's his contract status? Does anyone know? I can't remember when his contract's up, but yeah, hypothetically, if it is this year, you would say that it would be less likely than likely that he would re-sign, just because of the depth we've got with our key backstocks. Like we were saying before, you've got Bolter, Blight, Gray. That's a shithouse kick out in the full. Tyler Young, Gibcus. I mean, Elnor plays down there as well. We're talking VFL too. It's yeah, there's a few players down there, so yeah, it might be on borrowed time, Cozzy, potentially. Fair call, JP. Yeah, I suppose if all the other mids are getting judged on the same type of kick. 2026 for Cozzy, okay. I don't mind that though, one more year. I think that's still helpful. Caleb Smith, I reckon's got the tools RFC sent. I don't disagree that he's got a... Oh, that's a good kick. Shit, Frankston in front. That is a great kick for goal. Richmond need to respond here. Especially with the changes we've put into the side this week, they need a response. Batchelor has got his work cut out for him. 100% Declan, they've switched off, and I reckon that the umpiring stuff's gotten into their heads a little bit, and they've lost their way. Disposal leading to turnovers. Yeah, okay. But as to JP's point, I suppose Dusty and co, that other mids are all judged by the same stat, aren't they, I guess? So you would like to see that improve dramatically. And there's no real secret that I think we've probably all felt that delivery to our forwards has been subpar for a couple of years now. And I'm not pinning that just on Taranto, but that's a team-wide thing that it's shithouse. It's like, no wonder we struggle to win games when we switch off defensively with our defensive running and we can't hit our forwards. Like, what hope do we have? But we're getting there. Like, it's a... Oh, fuck. It's a throw. Frankston are up and about here, folks. Yeah, Dusty's had some... he's had some interesting games with some poor kicking, but... Oh, good mark. Oh, it wasn't paid. So Sonji hasn't got that. Any danger. Where's the descent? Pay 50. Number 5's been a jerk. How's McAuliffe going? I haven't seen him a lot this quarter. He's in the middle of the ground there. Actually looks like he's labouring a bit, to be honest. Could be wrong. I hope I'm wrong. How was the umpire... I know we got the free kick, but how has he found a free kick from that far away? Jasper Elgar takes a mark. There is no way that umpire could have picked out a free kick in that pack. We'll take it, but Jesus. Declan, this quarter, Sonzi 5 disposals, Smiley 1, McAuliffe 1. Yeah, it's a slow quarter for him. This is a similar spot from his earlier goal, Jasper Elgar. This is where I want to see him improve his conversion. He got the one earlier. Can he get the second one? Good boy, Jasper. Good boy. My man. Or Dusty and Trent duo. This is a good question. How does McKelty Lafau fit into the side when he's fitting well? That's a great question. What do you think? How does he fit? What does everyone else think too? Let me know. How do we fit McKelty Lafau in? Is he... Look, I don't think he'll be an automatic AFL inclusion. Yeah, I don't know. Because if we're playing McKelty Lafau, it will have to be at the expense of a Jonty Fall, a Harry Armstrong, even though I know he's injured, a Jacob Bauer, a Sims, a Fawcett. Like, he's going to be taking one of their spots. So it's like, are we happy for that to happen and have these guys do more in the VFL? Will he offer more than one of those guys? Can he do backup ruck as well? It's a really interesting question. Really interesting question. Like, I really loved how McKelty was developing, attacking the ball. Again, he was a player that was asked to play a role that he shouldn't have to have played. Like, he's not a main key forward, but he had to play that role out of necessity and did a good job. So you would love to see him play as a second forward and see how he goes there. But I just don't know, is the trade-off the right one? Like, does McKelty offer more than make us better than what Jonty Fall does, or are we better off getting games with Jonty Fall? I don't know the true answer to that. It's a great question. Ball. Was Smiley compared to Cripps? He was compared, yeah. But like the comparison Richmond 17, I kind of feel like the comparison was a lot to do with the size and the height and things like that. I don't know. He'll be his own player like what Lawler is. Has Smiley been subbed? Good question. I haven't seen him for a little bit, so I'm not too sure. We'll have to keep an eye out. As McAuliffe gets out of the stoppage there. Declan says Lafau will play the Lynch role if Lynch hangs it up. True. A fair call. Fair call. Riddle, if you're going to bring in Sonzi and play him half forward, will we not be better off just bringing in Elgar instead? That's a great call, Riddle. I reckon that's a really, really good comment. I reckon you bang on. If we're going to bring a player in to play as a half forward, then bring the player who plays at half forward in to play at half forward, if that makes sense. Don't bring in the extracting midfielder from the VFL to play as a half forward. I think it's a brilliant call. I like it. McKelty in Taranto out. Not exactly like for like there, Hughie, but I understand the sentiment. It just might not work. I think McKelty will definitely see AFL minutes at some point upon his return. He's just such a good character as well, McKelty Lafau, isn't he? Such a good guy. Yeah, we're being held out of the contest there. Well, the boys are fired up here. Yeah, no, but you do. You want competition for spots. You want everyone to earn their selection. You know, if players are playing in the AFL knowing there's someone hot on their heels, that's a good thing. And I know it seems crazy we're all talking about this given we struggle to win games, but it's a lot of young kids fighting for spots, and I think that's good. Good kick. Lafau played a lot down back in the VFL. Fair call, but yeah. I mean, we've got a lot of plays down there too, don't we? Thoughts on Tyler Young? Yeah, Leah. I don't want to say time's up, but I think. Oh, Massimo with a lovely little blind turn. I think that Tyler Young will be the one who struggles to get back into senior selection in the back line, just because of the other players who are probably going to be ahead of him. So But I think as well, we have to remember that Tyler Young, he started playing AFL really late, like when he was 16 is when he first started playing. So there's still actually a lot of development and growth for him to go. So he's probably, in a lot of ways, still an unknown quantity. Good kick from McCall, well done. Oh, Julie, thank you. Smiley trying to get into the field. Thank you. 50 metres. Cop that. Take that. Off topic, Eric, thoughts on Logan Morris getting off? That's a good question. What does everyone think about that? So for those who didn't see it, Logan Morris shoved Darcy Moore into a marking contest. Darcy Moore thankfully didn't have any major injuries, but Logan Morris didn't even get cited, and we have Mansell on the sideline for 3 weeks. It just proves that it's all outcome-based. I saw people on Twitter trying to say that it wasn't a shove, and that he was just trying to get him into a better position for a mark. It's the same shit, though. He still pushed the guy. Like, the action's the action, right? So, as we get a goal there. I think the Logan Morris not getting weeks just adds further confirmation that they've got no fucking idea what they're doing when it comes to suspensions. But, pardon the language. CJR, the future of the game, according to champion data, is ball movement off half-back. The trend is away from contested possession. Ball movement will be king. That's a scary comment when we consider that Blair Hartley in his interview, they were thinking the game's going to transition into a more contested game. So that's not good if the data suggests the other way, because we haven't set ourselves up for that. So that's not what we want to hear. Smiley with a beautiful handball out for the clearance as we go forward again. Smiley, nice work again there. I feel like Bow is more suited to a good team. Bow's done all right today, actually. Blight playing backline tonight. Yeah, I think that it's just that Samson Ryan is most definitely a better ruckman than Blight. And like I said before, in a lot of ways, is a better ruckman than Nank. In terms of tap ruckman, I should qualify that. I don't want people to come at me. But giving our mids first use, Samson would be number one at our club, in my opinion. Bauer kick 4 now. Surely has to be in consideration for next week. I mean, you can't do much more, can you, RFC? If you're fighting for a spot and you kick 4, you're putting your hand right up in the air for selection. Oh, that is a dangerous handball. Massimo Rezzo strolling in. And he finishes. The Razzo. That was a shithouse kick across the ground. Well intercepted and well finished. Get him in the mid-season draft, folks. Yeah, Eugene, how's my rehab going? Yeah, my knee's been cooked for a while. Without wanting to bore people with the details, but so I've had 2 knee reconstructions, and my knee, in my opinion, currently is still torn in I think my ACL is still currently torn. Tore it the first time playing indoor soccer and dislocated my kneecap at the same time. That was excruciating. So I had the normal reconstruction with the hamstring tendon. And then 6 months into the rehab, I was down at cricket training, and I was cleared to do all this stuff, so I wasn't just being a dick doing my own thing. And I was just bowling a ball off a couple of steps, and on a follow-through step, landed, and it went again. And then I had another reco done, but I got the Lars ligament, which is the synthetic fibre, like what David Roden had and Nick Malcheski. And recovery for that was really awesome in terms of the speed. Like, I was walking in a couple of weeks. It was really, really good. And then I went back and was playing outdoor soccer. And I'm not even good at soccer. I was playing purely for, like, playing with mates. And, I was having a pretty good game in the outfield. I was goalkeeper usually, and I played in the outfield for a few games. And it was actually at Frankston, I think it was. And, the ground kind of shifted as I planted to turn. And I felt it go. I've not had a scan since to confirm if it's been torn or not, but I know it's severely weakened. And even doing 10-pin bowling, when I go down on one knee, it almost collapses. So I probably should get it looked at. And I have looked into getting it done again, but it's just going through the rehab again. Having 3 kids, didn't mean get a hold of my knee, no. As my wife just opens the door and shakes her head saying, no, I'm not getting any surgery done anytime soon. Me and did get a hold of my knee.
It's hard to see from this van.
So the question for everybody on Razzo, would you feel comfortable as a club to tap Prestia on the shoulder to retire, or would you feel comfortable enough to put Harry Armstrong on the long-term or deactivated list to get Razzo? What option would you prefer? Yes, Smiley's and he shoved the guy back over the boundary line too, and Smiley's just running away from it. Yeah, I don't think Bauer was that bad either, Dyer. It was probably just more because he was sub for 2 games that we won't play him as a sub for the 3rd game. That's just been our mantra, if you want to call it that. Oh, Wallace, he had a PCL, an ACL Rico. Did you say you tore both in the same leg? Jeez, that's shit. Yeah, it's not fun. The rehab, it's grueling, right? And for, regular plebs like us, yeah, bowling and blows a tyre wouldn't have happened 10 years ago. I know. And I'm not a bad bowler either. Well, 10-pin bowling, cricket bowling, wasn't great, but yeah, it was, yeah, not fun going through that. I think I'll get it done eventually because it's, want to be able to run around with the kids and do whatever. Jaleesa would rather retire Dion. RFC Centre would pull the pin on one of the ruckmen. Presti is too important. Who would you pull the pin on, though? Because the ruckmen are doing all right. As we go forward again, Razzo inside 50. Bauer might trickle out of bounds there for a throw in the forward pocket. Do whatever we need to get Razzo. Presti's 33 this year. And my big question on Prestia, let's say Prestia recovers from whatever this injury is and comes back in mid-season. Right, let's say fully fit. Do we think he will add a significant point of difference in a positive manner to our side, or do you think we'll be as slow or slower? That's my big question. Paul Boyd, thanks Dion, just flat out. Smith's numbers look good, but he has made some diabolical errors by foot tonight. I reckon that's a bit of a byproduct of Frankston's pressure, to be honest, RFC. The pressure's actually been quite good earlier this quarter, must be said. Ash, yeah, we've got to put the team first. Fair call. And Uze said that Prestia is doing quite a bit of coaching at the moment, which Prestia has said he would want to get into as well. So that's something, I suppose. Yeah, I know. Stop the sports is the answer, UG, but I'm too competitive as a person. Like, my brother-in-law's even asked me today, do I miss playing cricket? And I would love to go back and play cricket. As Sonzi gets a lovely handball over the top, shithouse kick inside 50 from whoever that was. I would love to get back to playing cricket, if nothing else, just to get away from my kids for 8 hours. No, they're not that bad. I'm far too competitive as a person to do that. But at the moment, I've got no choice. Marley, calm down, but to not play.
That forward entry from Richmond. He's going to go.
There's literally no one there.
No, he's just doing the professional little measurement near the man on the mark, makes a mark on the ground. The Frankston Council will be happy with that on the new turf. But here we go.
As the siren goes.
Chance to put Richmond out.
Oh, okay. There is a car at the front. Apologies.
Which would put them absolutely in the box seat.
Frankston for all of their good work. Third quarter.
Big kick after the siren. 32-minute quarter, if you don't mind. This would put a nice little lead in. No score. Geez, the Frankston crowd are loud.
A great response from the Tigers. They kicked 4 goals straight in that quarter. After Frankston made all the early running, they kicked 4 goals, 1. But in the end, the margin...
All right, let's have a look at some stats. Basic. Marley. Disposals. Sonzi, 35 disposals. Thank you very much. 5 marks, 3 tackles, 1 goal. Clearances. 2 clearances. Smith, 25. Wilson, 17. Scott, 16. McCall, 16. Smiley, 13. With 3 tackles. Campbell Gray, 12. Elgar, 12 with 2 goals, which is really good. 3 marks and 2 tackles. And that's, yeah. Leading the way. Razzo, 3 goals from 9 disposals. Just an impact player, isn't he? That's crazy. Bauer, 4 goals from 6 kicks. Got to be over that. CJR watching on the AFL website. So if you go to the AFL website or the app on your phone, and then go to the VFL section, it'll have like the Richmond Frankston score, and I'll have watch now. So you just hit that, and you can watch it. You can watch it. Okay, so the experience of Prestia is appealing to people. I can understand that. But if he keeps getting injured, though, yeah, it's like, at what point? It's a tough one. Dyer Legacy, yeah, I think McAuliffe was on the verge of getting, because he had 2 best on ground games in a row before he had that hotspot foot thing, whatever he had the other week. So he's probably going to have to do another 2 good games before he gets a look. He's probably a player that I'm really worried about that we won't give the right opportunity to and will leave. Yeah, I would love to see him get some good AFL game time this year. I think he's got a bit to offer. Is Smiley the most ideal? Is Smiley in the most ideal position he'd play based on what we know of his? I mean, he probably hasn't shot the lights out from an impact on the game, but his disposals have been good. Apologies. His disposal's been good though. Like he's not getting it 25 times, but he's being impactful when he has the ball. So it just depends on how highly they rate that, I guess. It's a really difficult one to answer, actually. Tom, 1000% we should give Sonzi a go on the guts. It's a no-brainer, isn't it? But we're just not doing it. Eric would hate to retire Prestia or long-term injury Armstrong if we don't have pick 1 in the mid-season draft and can't guarantee Razzo. That's a fair call. I think that will play a part too. Unless we were happy with like a Yassine, or was it McCartney was the other one, you would have to say that Razzo would be priority 1. And so your point's pretty valid, I reckon. It will depend on what number pick we have. It's a good call. Declan, Smiley doesn't kick a ton, but is very good when he does. Would like to see a bit more of it, but seems to be common for a first-year player thing. That's a good point. I agree with you, because we even see Sammy Lawler handballing quite a bit as well, but when he kicks it, it's unbelievable. So as a supporter, it's like, just kick the ball more. But there might be other instructions. JZA Tiger, welcome. Not convinced Smiley is ready yet. Might need another 2 to 3 weeks. It's a really tricky one, isn't it? I think if he's match fit enough, I would still play him Anzac Eve just to say, here's what the big stage looks like, young man. Enjoy it, and show us what you can do. Only because we've got nothing to lose, but that might be the wrong call. Might set the wrong example. I'm not sure, but heard someone at SEN refer to Richmond VFL factory. We've got a few there, CJR, don't we, that are genuine chances of getting picked up. It's a good point. Very good point. Welcome. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Hope you're all doing very, very well. What else we got coming through? Jack Webb, I like McCullough's toughness, being able to ride tackles. He's a genuine beast, isn't he? Just a ball of muscle. Kind of reminds me a little bit of Matt Arnott, how big he was, if anyone remembers. JP, Smiley is definitely a midfielder, has always struggled with the tank, even at under 18s. Just going to be highlighted more at men's level. So my question for everybody in chat, and I put this in the video that I did the other day as well about Smiley. Obviously, we all think and want him to be a full-time midfielder. I get it. That's the long-term vision. Reality is he's not going to play any more than 25 or 30% in the midfield now, like what Lawler's not. So my question is, where is his secondary position for the now? Like we see Sam Lawler play half forward and then have bursts in the midfield. Is Smiley a half forward who plays midfield? Is he a deeper forward? Is he a half back? Like, what is everyone thinking? Like, I wouldn't be against seeing him off half back for a little bit. He did that in his under 18s year, I think. Or was it 16s or 18s? I can't remember which year it was, but it worked well. And I just don't know how we would go having Lawler and Smiley on the same half forward line at the same time if that was to happen. But I'm keen to hear what everyone thinks his secondary position is going to be. Like I said, we know that we want him to be a full-time midfielder in the future, but that's not going to happen right now. So where else would you play him? What else we got? Dill, how are you, mate? I'm not too worried about our trajectory overall. Watching West Coast and North today, I feel that we are in a much stronger position to develop quickly. That's a fair call, Dill. I don't disagree with you, mate. I like that. It's weird, isn't it? Like, we've obviously had our fair share of tough losses this year, but I think to your point, I feel like that we've walked away happier from games and seen more than maybe what some of those clubs have seen, which is good. Tony loves the look of Smiley. Declan, I think he could be a Sheasel type halfback. I kind of have the same vibes, Declan. That's how I'm kind of thinking. JPD, welcome. How are you, mates? Going well yourself? David Rose, reckon changes with Lawler. CJ says, at this point, I'd like to see Prestia, Taranto, and Hopper coaching. They probably, I mean, they do in their own way, don't they? JP, Smiley got all Australian at half-back. Yep, but with our speed issue, it's not, yeah, good team fit-wise. I mean, it's a good point, but yeah, can we utilise his ball use from half-back? Your point's still right, though, about the speed. It doesn't really help that, does it? Yeah, interesting. Hawk Tim, how are you, mates? How's he going? Smiley's doing all right. He's had... Let's get the stat back up. Bear with me a second. Smiley. He's had 13 disposals, but he's only kicked it 3 times. We'd like to see him kick it a bit more. He's tackled well, and he's been effective with what he's done with the ball. So, final quarter. Now, what's keen, if anyone's at the ground, if you can tell us, is Smiley still kitted up or is he subbed off? That's what I want to know. Alpha Dingo, Smiley at the half back line, good height for intercept, can hopefully find plenty of the ball and his chances of using it. I agree, Alpha, because I've had the same thoughts about Lawler. And the reason why I say that is because our delivery to the half-forward line shithouse, right? It's no secret. And so it's going to be hard for him to get his hands on the ball a lot there. And we see how well he kicks the ball. So it's like, why not get him to utilise his foot skills off the half-back line? But we can't put them all there, can we? And again, speed's probably still the issue, I guess, as the final quarter's just started. David Rose adding Melbourne and Essendon to the list of teams we've got more promise than. I think that's a reasonable call. Hawk Tim, I still think he could be a sneaky chance for an Anzac Eve debut. Give him the exposure. Sonzi may be done for the day. Oh, good mark, Sims. Yeah, is Smiley still kitted up or is he subbed? What's happening? Do we know? Bauer. Oh, you've got to release that handball. That's now going to be out in the full. Gee, he had to handball that. Oh, Cozzy's doing okay, JDP. Ultimately, he's just a depth player at this point in time. Like, our backline key position stocks are pretty good. He's doing a role in the VFL, basically. Unfortunately for him, but fortunately for us, we've recruited semi-well in that area. You've got Bolter, Young, Gibcus, and our backline has been pretty steady, so there's not really going to be a spot for him. Oh, Razzo! Oh, and it was touched. Damn. But he's holding the fort in the VFL for us, so it does help in some way, shape, and form. Can Sonzi replace Dow? He can, but he won't be played in the middle, so it won't matter, which is the frustrating part. Hawk Tim, I am all in on Jasper, as you probably know. He's had 2 goals today. Looked really, really good. I'm confident we'll see him sooner rather than later. Sims is a beast and packs Paulie D. Agree. I've said this before on the Monday night shows, but honestly, just sit back and have a think about what our forward line will look like in a few years. Post-Lynch, we've got a few years into these younger forwards, and you're going to have Harry Armstrong, Jonty Fall, and Tom Sims just smashing packs on a weekly basis is going to be unbelievably fun to watch. Because they'll take their fair share of grabs, and we'll hopefully have the smalls to go with it as we go forward again. Sims flies, ball comes to ground. Would have liked to have seen that tackle stick. Agree, Tirum. I reckon Sims will get a game later in the year too. I've always felt like that we were playing our tools in 4 or 5 week blocks. And I might be wrong. It was just kind of the vibe I was getting, I guess. I think we'll see him. And I think what helps him is his ability to actually ruck as well. So I agree with you. I think we'll see him as Frankston get the first real meaningful entry inside 50. That's a great pass. He's flopped there. That's a very good pass. It's not Frankston's logo, CJ. So I wasn't doing I only started doing the live at quarter time, and so I just rushed on, and this is what I had for the last week, the Freo, so just Fremantle's logo. I didn't have time to find a Frankston one and colour code it all. I didn't anticipate I'd be going live, but the game was looking interesting, and I was getting fired up about the Sonsie situation, so I thought I'd jump on. Deal would have been nice to see Blight stay in the team this weekend instead of Bolter, just to give him another go on the back line. Blight was elite in the back line the first 2 games. Blighty was doing good in the first few games, and even his new role with the ruck forward, I thought he was doing well in as well. I suppose the question becomes, are we getting more out of Bolter or Blight as a defender? You'd probably have to say Bolter will offer more, we hope. And then it comes down to, is Blight offering more in the ruck than Samson Ryan? And the answer is going to be no. So he's probably been a little bit unlucky, to be honest. I don't think he did anything wrong. Unfortunately, though, for him, he's had a bit of a shit one tonight, which is a bit annoying. Presti retires and Razzo in. Follow Grigger's lead, Bryant. I mean, a lot of people are floating that. A lot of people are floating it. So I'm guessing here that Sonsy's been subbed off. I'm guessing that Smiley's been subbed off. And I don't think we'll see them take any further part in the last quarter. CJ, you could not have timed that comment any worse if you tried, I reckon. Could not have timed it any worse. McAuliffe is slow and then he burst out the centre, burning everyone with an inside 50. That's brilliant. I know what you mean though. Maybe from, like, he gets from contest to contest, okay, but then shows breakneck speed like that. That's just very funny. That's very very unfortunate timing. Maybe he's feeling a little bit heavy with his muscle, but he'll work that out, I guess. Mansell, Campbell, Algarioli, Armstrong. Yeah, it's the future. It's good. And, like, you know, watching our AFL games will undoubtedly be frustrating at times when we lose games. We're going to fade in halves a lot. We might only see 1 or 2 good quarters here and there. It's just where we're at. But as long as we see some progression from the young kids, I think that's all we can kind of hope for at these early stages of our footy cycle. Lafau, midfield or bust? I'm not sure he can play midfield. Has he even ever done that? I don't know. 10-point margin here. Steely Green's good. He'll be fine. He's young, inexperienced. Ripper goal he got though, wasn't it, the other day? Jesus. What's everyone thinking for tomorrow? How do you think we'll go? That is a shithouse kick outside 50 for Frankston, but they've made it work somehow. Pressuring here. Caleb Smith, good handball. Inside 50 we go. Is there anyone there? Horrible bounce. The tap around the body. Oh, he's missed. Lafau forward when he returns. Whose spot does he take, though? It'll be at the expense of someone we might not want it to be. I know, Eric, I think about this quite a lot with the VFL games. If you're Jake Batchelor, you're doing well, trying to stay undefeated, and then all of a sudden you've got to take Smiley off, you've got to take Sonsie off. There's been weeks he's had to take Rowley Jr. off at halftime, take Campbell Gray off. Like, you're losing, like, good players, but to the credit of the VFL listed players, they end up holding the fort really well. Really, really well. Sabrina, welcome. Where is Gibcus in the mix? He'll be in our best 22 as well. He definitely will be. That's a great spoil. We probably won't see Gibcus, I don't think, until after the mid-season break. Why is it a free kick to Frankston? What is happening? Why is that a free kick? Oh, to Richmond. Why is it a free kick to Richmond? Nothing happened in that contest. Oh, McAuliffe. Oh. Jeez, I'm not sure how the boundary umpire could have called that from there, but anyway. I reckon... so Hawks, I'm going the other way. I reckon Bolter will stay in defence, and I think Gibcus will go forward. I reckon we'll do that. Dave, you reckon we're within 6 goals tomorrow? JP going to be a 70-point loss. No, Gold Coast are cooking. You're not wrong. Dill, you reckon we'll get mauled in the middle? I think that's a fair call. Matt Rowe's smashing at the moment. Their outside speed concerns me greatly. I am scared about that if we don't rectify it. Kane McAuliffe with another 450 entry. Oh, Bauer, great mark. Oh, it's been touched. Oh, Bauer's pissed. Wow, he said it was juggled, and Bauer's thrown the ball into the fence. I reckon Bauer's got every right to have done that. I reckon he cleanly grabbed that, and the umpire said touch, throw it in. Yeah, look, that hurts giving away a free kick there. But that's been a bit of a boil over from a ton of shit decisions in the lead-up, I reckon. McAuliffe grabbed high. Any danger of blowing your whistles? Any danger? Honestly. That's out of bounds. Didn't call it. We are getting murdered here by the umpires. Jacob Bauer has just had it. I'm all for it. I'm all for it. Phonics, is MRJ best 22? I believe he is. I think he's still got a bit of work to cement it, but I believe he can. I think we are a much better side with his pressure and Mansell. Him and Mansell together, I think, are keys for us, for our pressure and perceived pressure on opposition players. Yeah, I think it's vital. So I'm all in for Morris Rioli. He's a confidence player, though. That's why I was saying the other day that I'd love to see Morris Jr. get up the ground earlier in games and get early possessions, because I think that's when his confidence rises, and we see what we saw in the Freo game. So hopefully he can do that. It definitely is hostile there. You're not wrong. Oh, good. Drop the ball. Frankston are clinging on for dear life here. Dear life. Bauer. Oh, he just kicked him in the face. Oh, he's paid the free kick. Oh, the Toby Green rule that only gets paid against us now. Oh, no. Crazy. This is madness here. Umpire straight from Timu. Good call, Alpha. I like that. Razzo. Bit of razzle dazzle. Oh, no. Shit handball. Good tackle, though. Holding the ball. Still not holding the ball. I swear there's been 3 or 4 tackles where they've not disposed of the ball and it's just play on. Oh, shit. They've got a goal at the back. Wow. 5 points in it, and we are getting reamed. JP, we have to throw the book at Sam Flanders if he hasn't re-signed. Will he be a free agent or would he be a trade? Yeah, bullshit call. The ball didn't spill out in the tackle. The dude dropped it stone cold and should have had a free kick against him. Rubbish. Hey, Grocko, mate. Oh, he caught him stone cold. Play on. Ridiculous. Volt Boy Smith's gone okay. He's got a bit of the ball. He's butchered a couple of disposals here and there. It's been a pretty high pressure game, it must be said. But he's been okay. Adam, agree, mate. Agree. Okay, it's a trade for Flounders. Interesting. It's a fair point. I think we do need an elite halfback at some stage. If we don't develop one of our own, as we get a centre clearance, we need to mark and convert here somehow. Sims, reading to the ground, ball up. Sabrina watched North today, or North. Shocking and fumbling everywhere. We're definitely better than them in game style and ability. Cannot wait for our best 22 to be available. Yeah, they didn't look great, did they? They've really lost a lot of self-belief, North Melbourne, and it's the heat's really ramping right up. I reckon Smiley was not meant to come back on, and they've done it because it's close. Am I wrong? Like, maybe I'm making that up, but it just feels like that he was maybe scheduled to not come back on, and they just want him out there because it's now Dyer. Give it to Smiley, he'll kick a goal. He dropped it again. Why are players allowed to do this? Oh, it's going to be a free for holding. Watch this. Yeah, you piece of shit. We need to tell Rozo to start avoiding the ball. Start avoiding the ball. We'll just run away from it. Sonzi is still off, I reckon. Come on, Blight. Good spoil. Well done. Bryant, this is extraordinary stuff. Watch that be a push. They did say, okay, he's played a full game. Does it give us the free kick stats? Free kick count? No, that can't be right. Frankston 31, Richmond 22. 31 free kicks they've had, and we've had there should not be 50 free kicks paid in a game. That is ludicrous. Absolute madness. That's going to be deliberate out of bounds. It's another one.
Oh, he's not going to pay it. Oh.
It's a bit of a head scratcher. Frankston move it in quickly. So there's a light at the
You sitting in the back of the bench, Sonzi? Yeah. Oh, Elnor really had to look at the ball there, but got away with one. Well, he didn't really touch him, I suppose, did he? It has been, Grock. Yeah, it has been. Widescreen, Richmond are ahead of North in their rebuild simply because we have a key position players and North have no defence, relying on Combin, who was a number 3 defender, as their best as number 1. That's a fair call. Wow, Frankston back in front. 100%, David, they absolutely are. We are getting horribly rained here. I've never felt so invested in a VFL game before. It's good. It's good. Let's see if we can update the free kick count here. 32 free kicks now, the 22. Crazy. And they hit the front. Yeah, Sonzi, take your kit back off, your jacket back off and get back out there, son. So Smiley playing up forward. Come on, boys. And we were peppering them 5 minutes earlier too, so that's annoying that they've hit the front. Got the clearance, got slung into the ground afterwards though. Oh, that's a big... Go, ball! How was that not dropping the ball? What is... And how is it not kicking in danger? Oh, they paid that one. This not playing holding the ball bullshit is doing my head in. I can't understand how that can't be dropping the ball when he doesn't dispose of it when he's tackled. It makes no sense to me. Matt Whitlock did debut. Yeah, he debuted and got subbed early-ish, I think. Yeah, I don't think his debut went as well as he would have liked. I didn't do my clock again. So the time is on 16:38. So I think, are they 25-minute quarters or 20-minute quarters plus time on? It must be 20 plus time on. So still plenty of time. 7 frees for them to our 2 in this quarter. Still, the non-calls here are getting out of hand. Well, what Grox just said, they've had, so Frankston have had 50 frees for the year. They've now got more than 60% of their yearly total already paid in one match. That's crazy. Oh, that's a good mark. Yeah, Willock did debut a few weeks ago, but yeah, like I said, I don't think it went overly well. Still probably about 10 minutes left in this one, I reckon. Yeah, Bendigo, Sondi's been great. Very, very good. Impactful with his disposals, bringing his teammates into play, played in the midfield and smashed it again. Like we would have thought he will, but yet he won't play there in the AFL. He was genuinely good. But unfortunately, depending on how you want to view it, he hasn't played this last quarter because he's the carryover for tomorrow. So he's not on. Come on, Tigers. Good clearance. We've just... We've got to equalise that number behind the ball there. Good pick up. Got to be brave. Got to be brave. Oh, Olga, you've got to win that. Oh, Blight. He's been held. Oof. What? What? You're kidding me. No way. No way. You have got... Jacob Blight was going back with the flight of the ball and couldn't get separation. What are they talking about? That's crazy. Oh, Jesus Christ. They kicked another one. Exactly right. Blight was running back with the flight of the ball. Like,
good character from the kid. He's only a young player. He's had a couple of moments.
That's crazy.
But ice in the veins there on that.
Widescreen Whitlock isn't going to be ready for 3 years. That was stated. Exactly right. He's a long-term project. Look, North were going to back themselves to improve, and I think it's just backfired at this stage, epically, which helps. Somebody called the police. Terrible free kick joke. Umpiring trash. There's been a crime. There's been a crime in Frankston. Good one. I like that. This is unbelievable scenes. We're going to need something to happen pretty quickly here. I like Kalina back in the ruck because he is a big brute of a man. Too high. Hey! Come on, get in there. Wheel and go. Wheel and go. Where's Fawcett? That's deliberate if it goes out. No, it won't though. I got carried away there. Oh. Frankston full of run. Good late little lunge there. Ball! Well, I got a handball. Fair enough. Oh, El Norge just flattened him. That's going to be a kick downfield. Oh. Great spoil, Gray. Could have easily given away a free kick there. And a good follow-up tackle. No, that's out in the full, though. Trouter, I thought North the game was going to be the worst umpired game of the weekend. Guess I was proven wrong. That Campbell Gray spoil, don't underestimate how difficult that is to execute without giving away a free kick. Oh, shit, that would have been a good... Ugh! Rush her through. We've got to go here. Can't be messing around. Play on, it's play on! Ah! I'm not sure there's enough time. Alpha, given our key position depth and options, we should offer Cozzy to North for a second round pick. Yeah, we look a bit cooked here. That shit defending, but oh no. Wow.
Have you ever seen or heard a captain's goal like that? They're just about home, the Dollies. Wow.
Frankston are going to pinch this.
Everything he's done tonight has been top class and clean. Recognising Minot on the short.
That's the game.
Not sure who the Richmond opponent was. Could have closed him down.
That's poor defending. Poor defending. You have some news, Hawk? Go on. Hopefully it's good news. That type of defending really pisses me off. That players switch off and just don't man up someone who's just lingering inside 50 unopposed. That really irks me at all levels of football. Should never happen. That's just lazy. As JP said. Wow, that commentator just said they haven't beaten us for 9 years. Oh, God, that's going to be another clearance for them.
Murphy to Reed, just left it behind. It's one back by Garner. Times of the essence now for the Tigers. McAuliffe, Johnson.
What do you got, Hawk Tim?
Oh, handball's a hospital one.
Hasn't got it.
Wilson, brilliant from Tyson Milne, outstanding.
Like we'll always say, there's plenty of things that we can do better in a game to win games, but my God, we have been crucified here. Oh, you've broken your wrist and dislocated your shoulder. Jesus, how'd you do that? That's not good, mate. Hopefully you recover from that soon. That sounds painful. Was it like a landing on it injury? I feel like when people do those injuries, it's because they've fallen forward and like braced themselves and it's all just gone haywire. Oh my God, they kicked another one.
The 9-year drought is over for the Dolphins.
Wow.
They will beat Richmond tonight. And what a come from behind victory it is.
We have really dropped the ball in the last quarter here.
For Richmond this year.
No, and don't the crowd here love it. Massive crowd. Queues going down.
So what does that mean for your footy stuff then? How long are you out for?
Sort of game they'd like tonight. They've got to work around the footy in the second half of this game. Tyler Sonsi not playing in the last quarter. You do need to mention that because
Disappointing last quarter. Even with Sonsi out, that's very, very annoying.
We saw Tyson Milne with some outstanding work.
Agree, got a lot of momentum, yeah.
Back Frankston's way.
That hurts.
Critical error not to have a player going up in the
Oh, you're trying to punch the ball. Oh, pop, that hurt. Yeah, that's shit, Hawk Tim. That's no good, mate. 3 months. So are you playing Coates League? Yeah, not having Sonsi definitely hasn't helped. But the second half's been a bit disappointing. We definitely had plenty of moments and chances we could have had the game in control. And yeah, just not being able to lock it away. To also then have it blow out the 20 points too is a bit disappointing. They'll be pretty disappointed with themselves. That is a horrible kick. Yeah, Sonsi off and we fall apart, yeah. Got to go. Can't be standing around. Oh, there's probably not much time.
Go for broke for Richmond. Get the ball over the back. Bauer will go for another specky. Oh, he's pushed his player in the back.
Has come out the back. Razzo is there.
Oh, Razzo. Good pick up. On the left. Oh, Jesus. The player lost it there.
Horribly tangled up.
Yeah. Through for behind. Bauer gave away a free kick then. Umpire didn't see it for a push in the back. That's one thing for him. I would actually look at.
Yeah, Bauer's had a bit of a mixed bag, hasn't he? Like, he's kicked, 3 or 4 goals, but then he's had a couple of undisciplined acts as well. Does love to fly for a mark, though. I mean, if it's to bring the ball to ground, you probably don't mind it so much, but quite often by doing that, you almost take yourself out of the play if you don't mark it, because you're still sort of falling and trying to get back up. Aikman, how's it going? Oh, Hawks can play for Tassie. Nice. I'll have to look you up. So yeah, how does that impact all the draft stuff? That's a bit annoying. Sonsi off and we fall apart. Frankston wanting petty revenge on Jake Batchelor. Oh, he would have won the car. I appreciate the likes on the video. Much appreciated. There's been a few videos dropping. That's a throw. A few videos dropping recently. Smile and McAuliffe really need to up their tanks. Yeah, definitely. Mitch Morton. Oh, it was a prank, Hawk to you. No, you got me. You got me. That's 3 in a row that Bauer tried to sit on someone's head. They probably should have been 50. It's in the back. No, okay. Yeah, it's fallen apart, Steve-O. It's definitely fallen apart. Not good. I think they'll walk away from that pretty disappointed, to be honest.
Back out of play. So they're still 3-1 Richmond. We know with these AFL reserve sides, not all about winning necessarily or playing fine.
It's, yes.
So many new young players.
Can't get the ball without Sonzi? No.
Get them in and learn the system. They would have loved to have started the season 4-0, and it was a game that
Damn.
didn't get enough reward on the scoreboard when they were looked at the better team. In the first
Yeah, it seems as taking a couple of nice grabs, but I suppose you want to see a more consistent impact across 4 quarters. They're obviously very, very young too, so he'll keep getting better with experience and age. So I'm not too. I think he's showing a lot of traits of being a good footballer. Sims takes a bit of a mini jump at it. We just can't hit that target inside 50, can we? It's kind of the same issues that we have at AFL level. I don't know if Frankston had got some numbers behind the ball potentially. But, I mean, look, Sonzi has definitely put his best foot forward to come back into the seniors. But just, yeah, it's the position that he plays when he comes in, though, isn't it? That's the issue. Oh, force it. Everyone's trying to take hangers down there. My goodness. Oh, that's a high tackle.
Bauer got stood on for the first time tonight.
Tigers with back-to-back away games coming up against Casey next Thursday, and then they go to Box Hill.
Your standard late game.
Ricky, how are you, buddy? I just want to say that my belief in what Kalina could do is really starting to shine through now he's gotten past the injuries. I really hope he gets an extended run and can push for the ones. I agree, Ricky. I've been a huge fan of Kalina, and I've been really big on the fact that we really mismanaged his injuries last year with his back issues, and I've heard that from a few different people. And I think even Kalina was a bit frustrated as well. And the easy option would have been to cut ties. It would have been an easy out. But I'm really, really glad that we've stuck with him for another year to in good faith to get his body right to see what he can offer us, because I actually think he's got a bit to offer. And look, it could be pie in the sky type stuff to think he can make it at AFL level, but he shows some good signs, and I think we just need to see a good, consistent body of work from him. And you never know where it might end up. Like he could go full Mason Cox and have an impact at AFL level. I'm certainly not discounting it, as Sims just got smashed there. Hopefully his shoulder's okay. But yeah, I like Kalina. I like what he offers. Grok blaming you turned the ship and you turned it on. Oh, God damn it, Grok. Gosh. Jeff, our forward coach at the VFL and AFL level need to decide who's flying and who was protecting. Play them a tape of Jacob Townsend or Josh Caddy playing their roles for Jack. Yeah. There's no point if all three of them fly, is there? And there's no one at ground level. How good was Townsend and Caddy at playing that role for us? They were very selfless. Jesus. There's another goal for Frankston. We have just not been able to score at all in this quarter. Full credit to Frankston. They've turned the heat on and we've got the job done. Just the hay. Oh, that's good if they've talked to you at least once. That's good. Australian take a mark inside 50. Agree. Steve-O's playing our young kids too much in the VFL develop bad habits. I feel like the stars of the previous years barely, if ever, played VFL. I think it only has a negative impact if the VFL and AFL side are playing different brands of football. I reckon if they're both playing the same type of football, I think it can end up ultimately promoting good habits and good learnings. But yeah, I mean, losing in the manner of which we've lost is definitely not ideal, given the players we've got in there, but they're all learning and getting experience as well. But Frankston have just gotten the job done against the Tigers, the first time in 9 years. I'm saying that's a bad loss. That is a bad loss. We were in position 1 to win that, and they've shit the bed. No Sonzi in the last quarter, which hurt. But we should have been good enough to get that done. So that's very, very annoying. Gus, if you change direction from behind the boundary line, is it play on and a ball up? Technically, yes. But I think what you'll find is the umpires give a bit of leniency to that at all levels. but it technically should be called play on the moment you're off the mark, but they don't seem to do it.
You mentioned how they're trying to back up from last season.
Yeah, Trad, I hope it's not collarbone either. He got up and seemed okay, so hopefully it's not too bad.
Murphy, Minot, really like
Dave, full credit to the umpires. Yes, it was, yeah, horrible. Goat, how many weeks are we thinking for Smiley in the VFL? 2 to 3 seems way unfit compared to McAuliffe. Possibly. I still think he's a sneaky chance to play in the Anzac Eve game, to be honest. And it may not be the technical right call to do, but I think there's something small to gain by giving him a taste on the big stage in a big moment. It might not be the overarching right call, but if you're going off fitness and form, you're probably right. Another couple of weeks, I reckon we'll bite the bullet though. We'd like to see him being used more in transition because he's covered the ground well tonight. Yeah, fair call, Ricky. Fair call. Brian, Tigers look like no keyboard just got a bit of keyboard mashing. Appreciate it, Jay Tiger. I try to be objective as much as possible. And like I don't mind trying to challenge opinions and views as well, just to try and talk it through and all that kind of stuff. It's all good fun. Lena can surely play deep forward if fitness. That's a good call. So Smiley could play his minutes in the midfield or half forward and then go deep forward. It's hard because I guess it's a totally different ball game when it comes to AFL level in terms of the speed of the game, the physicality. Like it's very, very different, but I still reckon they might do it. They might do it. Julie said believes Smiley will perform better at AFL level because he'll have gatherers around him that can help bring him into the game. And that's a good point too. Like maybe he will play better at AFL level. Not that he played bad at VFL level, but he might improve again. That's a good point. That's a good point. I reckon you're a halfback, Hawk. No, and Jay Tiger, that's exactly right. I think I would have a very different view if we were playing to make finals, like on the cusp of the 8 and things like that. But the fact that we don't have that to play for, this is all about exposure, development, trying to get these kids to 70 or 80 games as quick as we can. As long as his fitness is at an acceptable state, there's nothing to lose. So I'm not against doing it. But Birdman, late to the party. Depends on what your definition is of McBean 2.0, I suppose. He killed it today. Again, every time he's played VFL in the midfield, he smashed it. Bulk disposals, good clearances, good ball use. We just don't play him there in the guts in the AFL, and it's infuriating. Very, very, very frustrating. So, seriously wouldn't blame Sonzi for leaving. Goat, I agree. I actually said before that it scares me that he might do that. Like he could walk to a GWS, for example, and he might get good midfield minutes there, or like he said, a St Kilda. I wouldn't blame him if he was going to get midfield opportunity elsewhere. And I think we owe it to him and ourselves to see if we've got a player who can make a difference for us in the middle by giving him a crack. It just doesn't seem like we're willing to do it, though, for whatever the reasons. CJ, another one from Champion Data. Collingwood are the slowest ball movement team by foot and the fastest by hand. Okay. That's interesting. I would hazard a guess that we're down the lower end of that table for both of those metrics. I'd love to see us playing a bit more by hand. Just get it moving. And like I've said most weeks, when we get it 70 or 80 out from goal, just wheel around and get it in there quickly. Get it to the one-on-ones. Horrible second half, JP. Agree. And McAuliffe, I agree, JP, is another one that I'm starting to get concerned about leaving through lack of opportunity. I know it's only early days, but if he's not playing AFL for the back half of the year, he would be another one I would be concerned about as well. Yep. Stevie Morris is doing a good job, undoubtedly, JDP, but I don't think we need to be too hasty on the changing of coaches just yet. And this might not be a popular opinion, but I still don't think we can judge Uze fully until even 2027, to be honest. Like 2026 and 2025, to me, a free hit, a write-off, because we're trying to get games into the kids to fast-track into 70 or 80 games, because that's when you start to see the proper development and the proper the final product, I guess, of what they're going to hopefully be like as players. So I'm not too hung up on this year or next year. I fully expect us to be bottom 4 next year as well. And I know that might not be what we want to hear, but it's just, if we're playing all of these kids and getting games into them, it's just how it's going to be. Like what Hawthorn were doing, and that's kind of what I'm hanging my hat on. But we'll have to see what happens there. I don't think Champion Data currently cover our game. Really? They're probably not. McAuliffe as a tagger. My question would be, does he have the tank to do it? That's probably the big question mark. Whereas like Camden McIntosh has got elite running capabilities. EG, what's the reasonable time period we should wait for these players to start showing results? I believe Uze will be there in 2027, and I think that we shouldn't be judging him harshly until then. Yeah, so free hit this year, next year as well. Once all these kids get to 50, 60, 70 games, that's when we'll start having a better idea of where we're at. Granted, though, you want to see incremental improvement. Like, you don't want to see shellackings every week. So for me, for the 2025, we'll see Richmond play really good for a quarter here and a quarter there, maybe a half, like we've seen so far. That may tail off as the year gets on, the kids get tired. But then for 2026, you'd want to start seeing 2.5 quarters or 3 quarters worth of good football. And you just want to see that incremental improvement as the year goes on. Because I know people get frustrated when we end up losing in the second half. And then they say, oh, we've got no game plan and all that kind of stuff. But we do, because we see it in the first half and it works really well. It's really competitive and strong. We just can't sustain it yet. And it's just where we're at. And I get it's going to be frustrating, but I think we would be stupid to pull the trigger and get rid of coaching staff at this stage of our development, because we won't be any better off with the new coach. The kids have still got no experience. That hasn't changed. So got to stick it out. And I do think as well that I think we would all be feeling differently if we didn't win the 3 flags. I think it would be completely different. We'd be more angry and we'd be less patient. But I think with the success we've got, we can afford to show patience and do this properly and not half-ass it. But everyone's going to feel different. I get it. What else we got? Uze's the man. Let him cook. Let him cook. Planted. I like it. Sonzi isn't a forward. Agree. It's stupid. And to someone's point earlier, if we're going to pick a player and play him as a half forward, pick Alga. Don't pick Sonzi. Birdman, go 18th this year, 15th next year, and then aim for 9th to the 8th. That sounds reasonable. Jay Tiger, where is Clark's best position? Yeah, we were talking about this earlier. It's a really interesting one. I would love to see him tried off half back. I think he might have something to offer there. He's got good skill, dual-sided. Obviously, he can play through half forward as well. He could maybe do like a Kane Lambert role as well, potentially. But I wouldn't be against seeing Jody Clark trialled as a half back. But you don't want to confuse the kid either, I guess. Jeff Davis, Premierships 2017, 19, 20, and you're going 27, 29, 30. I'm all for it. Trouter, I feel like we're in the same spot as Adelaide, where in 2020, but let me know, whereas they didn't. Yeah, it's fair call. There's a lot of clubs we can probably draw similarities to, I think. Going through the record books, don't forget we can be a Hawthorn in the making, or we can be a North Melbourne. I agree. And even though we had the 8 picks in the draft, you still got to nail the picks, and then you got to nail the development of the picks. So there's still a lot to play out, it must be said. But I think early signs suggest that we've got the picks right. We've just now got to make sure we develop them accordingly and give them the right chances and nurture them through. And I think we've got the right guys there to do it. Steve Morris does a wonderful job. It was good to hear Jack Zeebel's doing a more developmental role. So we're actually putting resources into developing these young kids to fast track them. And I think that's the right call. And I think we're in a good spot with that. I can't believe people questioning Uze already. Let us agree. There are many debutant players, less than 5 games. Yeah. And what actually ends up happening is you see a lot of people try and use the average age stat against Richmond. And our average age, I think, versus Gold Coast this week is very similar, or we might even be slightly older than them. But what people maybe don't factor in is that a lot of our more senior players are on the older side, like 30 plus. So it kind of skews the data a little bit. But if you look at the games played and things like that, we've got a lot of youngsters in there. We've got a lot of guys under 30 games. We've got a lot of guys under 15 games. And we've got a handful of guys under 10 games. So yeah, it doesn't just all click when you have that list profile. It's exciting to watch though. Like we see glimpses and it's good. It's exciting. Alga a chance next week. I'm probably biased, Eric, because I really like him. I would love to see Alga come in. Yeah, kicked another couple of goals. And the VFL game against Brisbane, he probably could have kicked 5. I think he got 1 goal 4. Should have had, 3 or 4. So I think he's trajecting in the right way for sure. Lettuce, we're doing better than North and West Coast with a complete overturn of list. And a lot of people are starting to kind of feel that as well. Like I said before, even though we might lose by similar margins in some cases, I feel like that we walk away from games with seeing more things from that game and taking more from it than what other people are, which is nice. Agree, JP. Our list is skewed by age, by both games and age, spot on. It's not really a true metric in it if you're looking at it as a number. Tony, are we any hope for tomorrow night? Look, the Richmond Nuffy part of me wants to say yes, but truthfully, the Gold Coast are playing really, really good football at the moment. I think in a lot of ways we've been a little bit unlucky. Our draw's been quite difficult for the first month of football. Like we have a look at who we've played. Carlton, for all intents and purposes, are meant to be a top 6 side. Port Adelaide are meant to be a top 4 side. St Kilda, have we played St Kilda? No. Who else we play? Fremantle meant to be a top 6 side. Gold Coast are going to be a top 8 side. It's been a Brisbane reigning premiers. Like it's actually a really tough start to the season. If you're being honest, that's as tough as it nearly gets for a team that's trying to develop and grow. So hopefully we see some different results and different. We can drag the good performances out for longer when we play against the mid-range teams or lower teams. St Kilda meant to be a top 8 side. So we've played against some good teams. So it's a really tough one. Birdman, if Reed and Lawler were in the same draft, who do you take? Lawler is less explosive, but is way more cleaner by hand. That's a really tough one, Birdman. Who would you take? Yeah. It's interesting because all I can think about is the Harley Reed of this year, which doesn't impress me greatly. I don't know. I'll say Lawler, but if Harley Reed fulfilled his potential, you'd say Harley Reed, I think. But we just don't know. JT Tiger about Uze being good this year in his messaging. I think that's a really good point. I think a lot of people were a bit frustrated with maybe his press conferences and the way he handled stuff last year. I think he's gotten really, really good at the way he speaks to the media and speaks to the players. And it kind of feels like he was being held back a bit or felt like he couldn't be himself with some of the other assistant coaches there last year. That was my take on it. But he has definitely improved there for sure. For sure. Do I think Taranto and Hopper are a Hardwick handicap? I don't know. It's the Taranto and Hopper one's going to be something we talk about for years to come for sure, in terms of how much we paid and all that kind of shit. What I'll say is, I understand from the club's perspective why we went after him, because the club firmly believed we were still in the premiership window, and they got it wrong, obviously. I don't begrudge them for it. Maybe if I was Taranto or Hopper, I'd be a bit pissy at Dimmer for convincing him to come over all the while he's working behind the scenes to shift teams. It hasn't panned out exactly how we would have wanted, but they've still got a role to play for us. And yeah, I'm sure that's going to be a lot of conjecture in the years to come, undoubtedly. Sack him for dumping footy diet. Yeah, I'm sure there'll be one there soon. He does seem more assured this year, CGI. That's probably what I was trying to say. That's a good point. Broad and short. No, I think, maybe short hurts us a little bit more sometimes than they help. Broady, I still think, is offering some really good service. Birdman, look at the D since Uze left the box. Good shout. I don't mind that. That's a good point. Planted, we've got free medallion club seats. Hey, so we can get pumped in comfort. Yeah, enjoy the padded seat. That's okay. Good stuff. Free tickets. Happy days. Happy days. Dead man, how are you, mate? Rough game. Bauer nearly took mark of the year about 12 times. I know. Forster had a crack as well. They're all jumping from the skies. Widescreen. We are 5 games into one of the deepest cut rebuilds in AFL history. Won 1 game and been in 2.5 quarters in 3 others. People calling for Uze's head have no understanding of how a rebuild works. I wholeheartedly agree with that widescreen TV. I think that is extremely accurate. Like I said before, I still understand the frustration, and people, we've come from playing finals football consistently, winning grand finals, which is wonderful. And I think people still feel like that's where we should be at. But like I said in one of my earlier videos in pre-season, we just have to be realistic with ourselves with what to expect this year. And it's not to win games, and it's not to even play 4 quarters. It's to play 2 and a bit quarters here, a quarter there. And it does get tricky because it's going to challenge a lot of us, but that's just where we're at. It'll be worth it in the end, though. You got to look long term. It'll be worth it. Hope we get some free agents. Jay Tiger. Yeah, I mean, who else is left in the free agency realms? DeConing, I don't think we can go after. It's going to cost way too much, and I feel like St Kilda are the heavy front runners there. It would be nice, but not sure we could pull that one off. Uze's still learning, and Alpha, this is a great point as well, that Uze's still learning his craft too. That is exactly right. He's still inexperienced for a coach, and we're supporting him and helping him out too. So that's a really good point. Gold Coast has only beaten West Coast, North Melbourne, winless yet. And Lettuce, it's a good point that Gold Coast have played some easier teams. You can only play the teams who are in front of you. Obviously, the Crows was a tight contest. And like we were talking to Keegan on Behind Frenemy Lines the other night, they're going to find out where they're really at in the next coming weeks for sure. But they're looking good. But they'll get tested soon. They'll get tested. One question, why couldn't we replace Hardwick with either McRae or Kingsley or even one of our assistants without destroying the whole premiership fabric? I think the simple answer to that is because we didn't know he was leaving. So you think about Kingsley. So, okay, to give context as to why I say that, if we talk about Adam Kingsley, who's at the GWS Giants, I've heard that was a bit shitty at the whole Dimmer leaving thing, because the talk with us and Kingsley for so long was always about you'll be taking over. He was for a long time, I believe, the long-term replacement when Hardwick left. But from what I can understand, the conversations that Dimmer and Kingsley had were never about Dimmer leaving. It was about that he was going to be staying on. And I think that Kingsley felt a little bit misled by that and could have, I'm sure he's happy with what the Giants are doing now and he's doing some good things. But I truthfully just don't think that anyone at the club knew that Dim was going to do that. I think that was very, very much a behind-the-scenes thing that caught everyone off guard. And maybe I'm wrong, but that's how it looks from the outside anyway. JPD Gaming, you heard it here first. The Bont to Richmond. Grew up supporting Richmond. He comes over, help the rebuild. We'll take a Bont. We'll definitely take a Bont. Birdman, we chatted after the Blues game. Yeah, Jamar is out. Yeah, we did. Our culture is unmatched. We back our players. So you're still all in for Jamara, Birdman? What about the no dickhead policy? Does he pass that test, or are we past that and just we need good players? He's an interesting prospect, Jamara. I can see I reckon that would divide more people than Harley Reed, I reckon. That was Dimmer's fault in terrible way he treated the Tigers. Yeah. Look, and I'll always love and respect Dimmer for what he did for us with the premierships and everything. But the way that he left was nothing short of sneaky. And yeah, it could have been handled better. Just, you got to look at it objectively. There is no way that whole saga of him getting to the Gold Coast, there's no way that just played out in the 6 or 8 weeks that he was not coaching Richmond when he quit. Zero chance. They had to get rid of Stuart Dew. And what happens if Gold Coast made finals that year, which they were close to? Would they have still stacked Stewie Dew, which would have been unprecedented? For me, and again, might be wrong, just my opinion, but I reckon the Dimmer to Gold Coast thing, I reckon that was in the works for at least 1 to 2 years. It just doesn't happen like that. It's no such thing. It's impossible. CJ, if there's, so draftees other than Reed, I agree. If you're looking at the draft, again, it comes down to what picks do we take into it, and do you take a Ruckman in Duff Titler, or do you go for a Dersma, a Rodriguez. I'm still very big on Rodriguez. I think he adds that genuine raw pace that we want in the midfield. Dersma probably has that same kind of traits. Sharp would be a bit more of an accumulator. And then we've obviously got Louis Callaway as well as a father-son prospect who is maybe fitting into that 30 to 40 range now. Maybe I'm being hopeful, but I'm liking what I'm seeing. He's obviously picked for the under-18 SA side, so we'll see a bit more of him as the year goes on, which is good. Very good. Yeah, Birdman, he did do us dirty in the end there. I think that's a fair call. Yeah, and like I said, it's really hard. Like, we'll always respect him for the 3 flags, but the way he exited was nothing short of shithouse. So, Gus, nothing sneaky about X-Plays, not returning to a club. What do you mean? I'm talking about Dimmer. It was sneaky with how he went about leaving. I think that's fairly categorical, I reckon. Hawk, you got a fun fact about Bolter. Okay, go on. Reckon we can risk not picking up Duff Tyler straight up if we end up with the 2 top 5 picks. So, Deadman, if we go to the draft with the 2 top 5 picks, assuming they're both top 5, and we don't do the Harley Reed thing, I reckon we will take Duff Tyler if he keeps playing the way he's playing and getting like 23 disposals, goals, hit outs. Like, he's a unicorn, right? As a tall ruckman, he's a rare player. I reckon if we have 2 picks, we'll take him as one and a midfielder as another. If we go to the draft with 1 pick, and because we've used another one for a trade, I reckon we'll go for a midfielder. And then maybe trade or free agent a ruckman down the track when we need to, if we need to, I reckon. But yeah, we'll have to see how that goes. Even ex-players not returning. Are you talking about Gus like players like, let's say, Cochin and Grigg, for example? Is that what you mean? JP Rodriguez is damaging by foot, but he's slower than expected. Oh, really? From everything I've seen, he's fast. But anyway, Lindsay's another one. Yeah, okay. I'll have to look into Lindsay more. I've probably not paid too much attention there. I'll have to have a look into that. I'll have to have a look. So Bolter, since round 10 last year, he's worn the same boots. There we go. That's interesting. Widescreen. Reed fits the timeline. No other place fit the timeline. I agree. So, because he's essentially the same age almost as the draftees we've just got in. He's going to grow with them. And I think he makes the most sense if he can play better than this year's version of Harley Reed. So, Gus, in terms of like Cochin and Grigg and all that, it's actually not that uncommon with what's happening. You'll find that, even you look at Chris Newman, for example, as well, you'll find that when players retire and they want to stay in coaching and football stuff, that the club they were playing for will actually actively tell them to go on to a different club, to experience a new environment, to see how things are done differently, because all that player knows for their whole career is what Richmond's done. And that might be right, but it also might be wrong, and there's definitely more to learn by going to another club first. So that's actually quite common practice. So I'm not too fazed by that at all. Would we love to have them back? Sure, at some stage if they want to and if they're the right fit. But yeah, them leaving is not that uncommon. Dead man, but will we take CTD with our first pick, hoping he'll fall? I think we would have to take him with our first pick to get him. I don't know whether he would get much further past that. At this rate, things can obviously change. And it probably depends a little bit on who's got pick 2 and 3 or whatever else in between as well. So, do I think McQualter was a victim of all this? McQualter could have stayed on. McQualter was definitely a little bit of a victim. I felt for McQualter in the sense that I really thought his hands were tied. So when Dimmer left, if you look at where we were from a win-loss perspective, we were still technically in the hunt for finals. Now, our form never suggested we were going to make finals, but based on mathematically possible, we could still make it. And I feel like that the club directive to him was, you got to keep playing the senior guys because we can still make finals. And maybe that's not true, but that's how it felt. So I felt like that McQualter never got the chance to play the players he wanted, and I felt like he never got to play the game plan he wanted either. So I don't think we got to see the real McQualter and what he wanted to do with us in the caretaker period. And that's largely why caretaker coaches often will never work, because they're usually hamstrung and they've got to kind of keep doing what's already been happening. and just ride it out. So he was a little bit of victim of circumstance, I feel, for sure. For sure. Peter Horton, what about if we get number 1 pick, then trading for 2 top 10 picks to get two top 10 picks in total? It's a good question, Peter. I mean, I guess the question is there a clear standout number 1 pick, like Harley Reed generational type player that you simply can't pass on? Or can you get something close to similar, and to your point, walk in with 3 top 10 picks? That's a pretty enticing option, to be honest. It depends on what it looks like, though. If you trade pick 1, what would be the expectation? Like, you would want 5 and 6, 5 and 7, so you'd have like 3, 5, 7 maybe. Would that be appealing? I don't know. What do you reckon? It's an interesting conversation, though. I like it. I really like it. Widescreen, don't take CDT. Only Gone and Cox in the last 2 decades have been top 3 rucks. I understand. Yeah, I can get that point. It's really difficult because we're probably in need of some Nank replacement. It's a tricky one, but that's a good point still. Reed would be too much. 2026 draft, we have 3 or 4 father sons and academy picks. I mean, we can trade for 2027 pick as well. The other interesting thing that might happen is the club's abilities to buy picks. Now, I don't know if that will eventuate from the AFL, but that makes things interesting too, whether we do that or not. It's so hard. Like, if we're getting Harley Reed, it categorically can't be for both this year's picks. It has to be 1 and then a future one, or 1 and a player, or whatever it might look like. But there's a lot to play out, I guess. Dead Man, where can we get a pick for Callaway? It's a good point. As much as I love seeing him play well and improving his football, it's actually almost at a detriment to us for trying to find picks to facilitate it. So I guess it means we'd have to trade future picks, or if other players are leaving that we get picks for. That's kind of how it has to work. So how that plays out, no one knows it, I guess, but it's a good point. One of McQualter or Uze will be a success. Don't know who it will be, but I like Mini a lot. Mini's a good guy. Just, a bit unlucky. Noah Dougie Cochran seems to be the Harley Reed pick. That's 2026. He's a good sort, Dougie. He pops up in a lot of the games I'm watching in the Sandful. He's a good sort. But we've got some pretty good stuff coming through for 2026. We've obviously got Jack Lees, who is looking really nice, playing for Woodville at the moment as an underage player. I think he'll transition into the midfield as the season gets on and for next year. Tanner Armstrong in the NGA, he's looking a really good prospect. He's playing midfield minutes now for Murray Bushrangers, so he's going to be pretty exciting. And Archie Daffy, that obviously posted the video on the weekend of his first game at under 18 level, got some serious wheels. And I've been in constant talks with his dad, Nick, and they're keen to come on for a chat as well. So we'll get Nick and Archie on at some stage to talk about footy too, which would be awesome. Birdman, we get Reed, and then we have our father, son, and academies will come in. Would be hard for the players not to find it enticing. Agree. And the other interesting player I want to bring up is Cody Walker. So Cody Walker is another NGA prospect for us, but he's also a father-son prospect for Carlton with his dad, Andrew Walker, having played at the Blues. Now, a lot of people would think it's just, not if but when he picks Carlton, given the relationship his dad's got with the club. My thing is, though, is there a chance? Like, I've heard from quite a few people that Rye Geishan and Blair Hartley have still been in serious and constant talks with Cody Walker because he looks a very good player. And maybe the pitch is that he won't get game time sooner at Carlton. If their form drops off again, which would be hopeful, maybe you play that angle too. Look, I think he'll ultimately end up there, but I'm not shutting the door just yet. You want to keep it ajar and keep asking the question, I reckon. Yeah, Dabo, he does. Archie Daffy does look good. I like the cut of his jib. He's got some good wheels, and I'm excited to see what happens there. Want to see more potential of Banks? Yeah, from what I've heard, John, the club rate Banks highly. They think he's going to be one of the better players from his draft crop. And I think he just needs a good run at it. And I think they need to settle him on a position as well. So, yeah, I like him. How about Elijah? Is it Sardis? I'm sure I said that incorrectly. I do remember the rumours that we were interested in him. Yes. I don't know if that's still the case or not, though, but I did hear that we were interested last year, it might have been. We could get Reed with a big front-loaded contract. Dabba, 100%. Whether we want to do front-ended, back-ended, whatever it looks like, we have got plenty of cash to throw around. And like I've said before, the way that Richmond handle contracts, I think, is A+. I think we've got a great track record on how we do that. So I would back Blair and the team in every day of the week to get that done if it's something that we can do. Is Dale Waitman still involved with the club? Good question. I'm actually not too sure. I know he was for a long, long time, but I'm not too sure if he is still now. Peter, picks 3, 5, and 7 would work, but draft is compromised due to academy players. Yep. Just don't think we need another ruck or tall player. Maybe 3, 5, and a future first in 2026 to give us another 2 first rounders. Fair call, Peter. Yep, fair call. I guess what's yet to play out is how high up the academy kids go. I know Cam Hicks dropped his top 20 power rankings, still not top 20, but his power rankings today. And there's a lot of academy kids in there. And yeah, I guess if the academy kids look like they're going to be 8, 9, 10 pick onwards, then maybe it's worth trying to get those earlier 3 picks in. If they look like being top 3 or 4, then yeah, maybe you try and split one and get a 2026 pick. There's a lot of ways it can work though, Peter. It's a good call. I mean, I would assume that if we had pick 1, it would definitely cause a lot of angst if we traded it. But if you're getting bang for your buck and you feel like you're going to get just as good a player, it could be a smart play. It's a really fascinating thing to talk about. Birdman, Alex Turu looks a bust. I reckon it's a bit early to go for him being a bust. He's still recovering from his injuries and shit like that. So we'll wait and see how it plays out. But having said that, Luke Traynor, you can't not be happy with getting him on board. He looks everything like an AFL player, and I hope he can play 22 games. I'm doubtful that he will. I feel like he'll need a rest at some stage. But yeah, you definitely cannot be unhappy with getting Luke Traynor. I agree he'll be one of the steals of the draft for sure. In about 5 years, clubs will look back on this draft and go, why the hell did we not take Luke Traynor in the top 15, top 10, whatever it might be. John Carter, glad we picked Gibcus over Hobbs. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I suppose the counter argument is we haven't really seen Gibcus play, but if we're looking at potential, Gibcus looks really good in potential. We just need to get him on the park, don't we? We don't need 500 plays, 6 A graders, and we'll win a premiership. Is 6 the magic number? It's a good question. Shige, Boz seems like a bit of a bust. Or nah. I can't go that early on calling players a bust in that draft crop. Like, you got to remember, these kids have only played 5 games. And it's very, very early into their careers. And you've got to sort of consider as well the team they're playing in and how they're going as a collective. And North are really struggling at the moment, like we are. I think it's too early to call it a bust. I mean, I suppose all selfishly we want Lawler to be the better player, and he probably very well will be. But I think Foz will be okay. Just as I think Jagger Smith will be a gun as well. And it was, genuinely shit news to see him go down for the Blues. I look forward to seeing him next year. If Carlton missed the finals and looked trash, Richmond are actually a better option. Yeah, you're right, and that's what I mean about the Cody Walker thing, widescreen. If they happen to flop this year and not make finals, I think it adds a different dynamic to the conversation to try and convince him to come across. EG question, looking through our committee, is there anyone who was an ex-footballer person? Galen Baum leaving is a huge loss. I truthfully don't know a lot about who's on the committee, if I'm being brutally honest. So, but to answer the second part of your question, yeah, Gale and Baum are huge losses. And that's another thing. I know we've talked about it on the show a little bit, but when we talk about a clean rebuild, like, we're not just talking about the players on the field. We're talking about a full club clean out. We've lost our president, CEO, director of football, head coach. That's your 4 key pillars of a football club gone. So you got to remember the amount of instability we've had in the last 2 or 3 years is actually quite phenomenal. So it takes a little while to regain momentum and to be settled on that front too. So it's not easy. It's not easy. It's big. We deal in the extremes. Fair call, Birdman. Fair call. John Carter, you're coming around to Elgar. Absolute stud. He's my man. You stay away from him. No, he's a good kid. I really like him. And even I remember reading a report on Punt Road End from Caesar, who does amazing work on there. Him saying that he can't not see Elgar. He can't not see Elgar not making AFL. Like, in other words, I might have butchered that completely, but he just sees so many good positive traits in Elgar that it just seems impossible for him to not be an AFL player. That's better. That's how I should have said it the first time. And I agree with him. I love what Jasper Elgar brings, and it's sometimes easy to forget that he's the youngest player on our list. Like, his birthday is the end of December, so he just made it into this draft crop. So he's got a lot of development to go, but he's got good size, plays tall, plays small, good goal sense. I reckon he's going to be a ripper, absolute ripper, and I can understand why we traded back in to pick him. I think he's going to be good. Trainer, was he? Yeah, I think he was 21. Yeah, it's a steal, CJ, and I know even I spoke about the concussion stuff at the time pre-draft because we're kind of only going off the information that's floating around, I guess. But upon further investigation and putting some more thought into it, I'm really starting to wonder if there was any truth to a lot of these concussions. Like, the more digging I did, the less I could find. So maybe there were a concussion at some point in time, but I think it was kind of magnified a lot and clubs just got spooked. But I don't actually know if it was as real as what it actually is, which is good for us. Good for us. Yeah, Razzo is definitely one we should be trying to get mid-season, but we need some things to happen for that to be a chance. We need a retirement, or we need a player on a long-term injury list, both of which are real-life options. But if that doesn't happen, then we're no chance. Or Birdman would like Hinckley's head of football in a barn roll. Geez, wouldn't that wind a few people up? My goodness. That's it. I don't necessarily disagree with that. It would be interesting. I feel like that's what Rutten's doing, though. Isn't that what he's doing currently, sort of? Peter Horton, off topic a little. The Kangaroos have 2 second picks, 2 thirds, 4. They got 4 fourth picks. Wow. And a number of top 20 picks. Can't believe they still aren't playing well. Oh, you mean in this side currently? Right. I thought you meant for the upcoming draft. I'm like, holy shit. Yeah, look, the Kangaroos are interesting. I mean, I said pre-season that I felt that the Kangaroos would show a lot of natural improvement this year. I thought just based on timelines, they were due to take a forward step. I'm not... The move of Sheasel to the midfield hasn't worked for him yet, and whether it's just him working the position out, I'm not too sure. It hasn't quite clicked, which is very frustrating for me on a personal level, because I took Sheasel pick 1 in a draft Supercoach comp, and it's not working as well as I would like so far. McKercher hasn't really hit the same heights that he has previously. So, yeah, they haven't quite... I think they bet on themselves, but it hasn't quite come to life, which is amazing for us from that draft pick perspective. Zoran, get Razzo is a gun. Agree, mate. Agree. Birdman, could we play Seth on the wing, Dacos position? I think we could play Seth on the wing as a midfielder, as part of his rotation. Maybe not a full-time role yet, but we would definitely be better off rotating him through those spots to utilise his pace and his attack on the ball and things like that. Just quickly, guys, while we're chatting, to self-indulge briefly, if you haven't subscribed yet, please do so. I appreciate the love and support on the channel. If you're watching on a computer, there'll be a little YouTube faint symbol on the bottom right side of your screen. If you click that, that should be an easy path to subscribe to the channel. We appreciate all the love and support. It's amazing talking footy with you all. I've actually been considering doing like a Q&A session for a while, to be honest, because probably my poor time management on the Monday night live shows, we end up running out of time to not ask questions of the audience. So this is good. I'm enjoying this. Blythe should be centre half forward. Lynch full forward. Yeah, possibly. John Carter, if we won that 4v1 on the goal line, versus Brisbane in 2022, yeah, we would have knocked... I 1,000% agree with you, John. If we beat Melbourne in that final, we would have beaten Melbourne the next week. I 100% agree with you. Yeah, that will forever haunt us. Yeah. Widescreen says Hinckley is who Richmond needs somewhere around the department. He's a brilliant at developing talent. Yeah, he has turned Port around. He's got a very interesting relationship with Port, doesn't he? It's always fascinating. Getting worried about Gibcus, says Peter. I'm not too worried about Gibcus. And I say that because I've got a lot of faith in Ben Serple, who's taken over the fitness stuff. And I think previously I was worried about him. But then when Serple said, put it in the context of he's had two major traumatic leg injuries to the same side, that they're just being extra cautious, that starts to make, pardon me, that starts to make a lot more sense. And I can understand why they're being very cautious. So I'm really hoping we see him in the second part of the year. It would be lovely. Jacob Bauer threw the ball. Were you behind the fence there? Now, be completely honest. Do you reckon he grabbed it? Was it a mark? On the vision, it looked like it was. And I can feel his frustration. Blights a defender, says John. That's a good claim to fame, JK. I like that. John, my Supercoach ranking. So my classic Supercoach team, I've kind of not given it a bit of love. It's probably shithouse, to be honest. I've really been focusing on the draft one that I'm in because it's a big work comp. So it's been my main focus. I think I'm first or equal first at least in draft. So I've got George Hewitt. I took him with the last pick in our draft and he got 171 today. So I'm very, very happy with that. Birdman, development, facilities and culture are massive. That's why teams like Pies, Swans, Cats bounce quickly. That's why punt and road development is so important. Agree, 1,000% Birdman. It's a good call. What about St Kilda being labelled as a destination club, but they're not really landed anyone yet? I find that interesting. Callum Pradke. Leo, off topic, what camera angle do I use in AFL 23? Oh, what did I use? I think it was like side dynamic, but pulled back, but raised. I tried end to end. End to end is good for streaming. I struggle with the camera swinging. It drives me nuts. It's the same as 2K. I really struggle with it. But I do think that if you can handle the camera swing, the end to end is your best bet. Pulled back a little bit, kind of like, Sharpie has it a lot closer. I don't know how he does it, but he's obviously gotten used to it and is very good at it. But yeah, I prefer it a bit further back. But yeah, end-to-end is the ideal one, but I use, I think, the side profile, but like pulled back way up high. So, Derek Egg Smith, there's a throwback. My goodness. It was a very big throwback. So, if any other questions, send them through. Otherwise, I might wrap up because it's 11 o'clock and I've got a big day of cleaning the house tomorrow, getting ready for Easter. So, yeah, good to chat with you all tonight. Good to have some footy talk. We should do more of these Q&A ones more often. Like I said, guys, please hit that subscribe button if you can, if you're not already. We appreciate all the love and support. We're growing this channel nicely. It's probably one of the bigger Richmond channels in the YouTube space, if not the biggest, which is awesome. So we're going to keep pushing and keep putting out more content because talking about Richmond stuff is what we all love to do. So it's good fun. But anyway, that is a wrap for tonight. Unfortunate loss with the VFL team. They really bottled that second half. Well done to everyone who went. It was obviously a very, very good game to be at. And yeah, we'll see how we go tomorrow against the Gold Coast Suns. It should be a fascinating game. Hopefully we can get a good half together and maybe a good second half. But I think the Suns might be a little bit too strong by the end of it. But we just want to see some progression. We want to see some green shoots. And yeah, that's probably as much as what we can hope for at the moment. No, I appreciate it, Peter. Love your work, mate. Appreciate it. Just means the AFL better win tomorrow, dead man. Spot on, mate. Thank you, John. Appreciate the kind words. We should send Uze a Sonzy petition. Love it. Love it. Birdman Smiley did play. Yep. He played. He got about 15 touches roughly. They were all very effective, except for maybe one. But he handballed quite a lot more than he kicked. I'd love to see him kick it more. Did he do enough performance-wise to be picked next week? Technically, probably no. But I think for the occasion, I still wouldn't be against him playing next week. But I won't be shocked if he plays VFL again, put it that way. But yeah, he's stepping in the right direction, which is good. Lawler's playing. Trainer's the GOAT at Marvel. Yeah, well, he does have good form at Marvel from his under-18 stuff. That is a fair call. But have a good night, everybody. Thank you so much for your support and for your chatting. Good to chat to you all about the Tigers. Unlucky VFL boys, and bring on the Gold Coast tomorrow. Hopefully we can get a good win. So I'll chat to you all next time, and we'll see you Monday night for the live